Okay. Yeah. Ooh. Oh my god. Why did that do that? What? Okay. Oh, that's a banger. So I should be able to tap this. Where's the fucking... What? Garage? Okay, no, this is home. Right? There should be a HomePod Mini. Home. It should be in my room. Marcel's room. Home. Only the big HomePod? What the fuck? Okay. So we got 2 HomePods. Oh, that just broke this. Jesus Christ, man. Why are you doing this? Please work. I plugged it and unplugged it. No. Brother. We are not the Waynes. Okay, let's just turn it off and turn it back on again. Deactivate, activate. So easy. That's just the classic. Okay. HomePod is flashing for some reason. This is the only HomePod that shows up. Yo, what up, Becca? What's good? This is a very bad stream. I'm just testing shit out. Dinner on the table. Okay. So this... Oh, I cut my hair off, by the way. There's my bald head. Okay. So this should turn on. Oh. What's poppin'? Come on. This should light. Look at this one lighting. Right? This one needs to get its act together. Oh. Yo. Come on. Hello? There we go. I just had to touch it. You know, sometimes you gotta touch it to warm it up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Okay, here we go. So I should be able to see this on my phone. There we go. There's me. Bot gaming. Oh, wait. That's a whole new username. What? It's no more for your stream to bed. Okay. Calm down. You're back. I hadn't seen your stream since Half-Life. Oh, Bro, you were the original viewer. Yeah, you better be just kidding. Whoa. That's Jay. Oh, you changed your Superman, bro. I remember because you were like it was just me and you. I was just playing Half-Life. Half-Life 1, I think. Jay, did you do that? Okay. Jeez, yeah, I'm back at home. It's a riot. I appreciate you, dog. You was with the facts. You was telling me all these random facts about Half-Life. Okay, this might be loud. Oh, and the camera's broken again. I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. I'm focused on the chat. I'm trying to set this shit up. Hold on. Turn it off. And then turn it back on again. Oh, that's just so good. Oh my god. Okay. So this speaker. Oh my god. This speaker should play when I tap this. Okay. AirPlay. Marcel's room. I don't want to play Jason's music. Play. Banger. Okay, we're set up. Okay. how things. It's been a long time, bro. I had a whole Last of Us arc. COVID happened. I went to ESPN since then. I left ESPN since then. I sold 2 houses. Alright, Becca, peace. Appreciate you stopping by. Yeah, things have been good, bro. How you been, bro? I ain't played no. Actually, I played Alex since then too. I think. I'm pretty sure I beat Alex. Since then. But okay, look at the setup. So here's my record player. Oh, you can't even hear me. Right? Bang, bang. That's as good as that's gonna get. I need to send you my. Hey, send me whenever. I know our time difference is a difference. Yeah, I just been good. What you been playing, dog? What you been playing? Half-Life Alex was special. Like that. I don't know if you have VR. That game was special. Okay. I want to play the record player, and you guys need to tell me if it's working or not. I brought the records up. Yeah. So right now I'm moving back home. Yeah, dude, I beat it. If you beat it, I just want to talk about like it had a part of that game where it was one of those experiences like this is the peak of this era of gaming. Like this was the craziest fucking thing in that game. Like one of those moments where you're like, holy shit, like this is like a memorable gaming moment. We're really gaming. Okay, anyway. Still, hold up. Look at that in the box. In the box. That is so. Oh my god. Word change here. That's all I'm gonna say. Not spoiler. Yeah, I don't know if anyone is in here chilling. It says 2. I don't want anyone to hear this. If it's like, oh, let me just stop by the stream. Half-Life Alyx spoiler. When you get to that part with the elevator, and you have to keep. Like, you keep thinking it's over, and you have to keep... Wait, you beat it, right? Am I fucking it up for you? I beat the whole game. That shit was like, oh my god, this is only possible in VR. I have it recorded. So I think I have it recorded. But anyway, Celeste on vinyl. I don't want to open it, though. Lupe, Food and Liquor, number 1. This is what I'm gonna play first. I will never play this vinyl. Yeah, now time to wait for the next 15. Right. They said they were working on, I think, something. It was like a rumor. I forget if it was Portal or Half-Life. But, okay, I'm never gonna play this vinyl in another circumstance. I just got it as like a timestamp. Because this is like the Ice Spice era. Crazy. I've been playing X-Defiant, COD, and Fallout 4. I just watched the Fallout series. I need to play Fallout 4. I've already played 3. I need to play New Vegas too. Tell me you can hear this. Wait, no. You can't hear it. Hold on. I need to go to my main mic. I'm gonna turn it down. Go to my main. Oh, it's so loud. Why is it so loud? What's loud? Okay, it should be. Okay, that's me talking, that's why. You should hear Ice Spice right now. Do you hear Ice Spice rapping right now? Oh, this fucking. Okay, this is. Oh, I got my chat on screen. I didn't even mean to have my chat on screen. That's sick. Dude, the Fallout series. Everyone, you know when people talk about something too much and it's like too hyped? Okay, I love myself. This is sick as fuck. I was like worried. I guess I'll make this a room cleaning stream because look at the goddamn room. This is what moving is. The mic echo. Okay, here we go. I know why. Hold on. Boom. I should be good now. I'm gonna turn off Ice Spice, trash ass. She a 10, but it's good on mute. Dude, I was so worried because everyone's hyping it. I like Fallout. The Last of Us series was good. And I'm like, man, they can really kill this series. And from the first 10 seconds when she put the thumb up, I'm like, this a motherfucking banger. That shit was fire. Oh, my guy, you know what I'm talking about. She at 10 is good on mute. Yeah, Fallout Season 2 has to happen fast. I gotta catch up on The Boys too. Everyone's talking about The Boys. And like, I'm at like my parents' house now, so I kind of don't want to be talking. So I'm kind of like whispering, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of tough. But I'm gonna set the title. That's so sick you came back, bro. Set title. Room cleaning and testing trash stream. Bang bang. Yeah, bro, Fallout was amazing. I put Fallout above the Last of Us show. Okay, turn off the record player. Okay. Oh, look at this. Wait, I just broke it again. I need to get a moving mic. I need to get a headset mic like Tyler One. What am I saw you said something? Hold on, let me get my shit together. Turn it off. Turn it back on. There we go. 2023 was a good year for gaming, and yeah, I follow you. I follow day one, bro. Literally day one. I forget I was in my first house. I don't know why I started streaming, but it was just so cool. I'm like, dude, someone already came in my fucking stream and you was chatting, bro. I was like, I had to like pause the game and read what you said. I hope I have those streams somewhere. But look at this. I got the chat on the big screen. I'm trying to put this TV on wheels some type of way. But like that'll be hard as fuck to have it like chat in the background. Like big as fuck. That'll be sick. Yeah, bro, I got partnered. Like I had a whole streaming era. And then I just ghosted. Like so much shit just changed. Like I moved houses twice, moved jobs, like sold my fucking YouTube. Like shit just overwhelmed me, and I'm just now coming back of like coming off of like burnout and like crazy amount of years. But anyway, I need to clean and I need a headset so I can move. I'm literally sweating right now. Is the window open? No, it's not. I need a wider angle cam. Okay, we're testing that too. Let me see this. Every time I go to your channel to see when your last stream was 2 years ago. Last online, yeah. I do people dirty. I be ghosted. I gotta stop doing it. I literally was like, I was on a wave too. Like I was doing like wheel spins and like streamer shit. I was about to be like, oh, I'm gonna get an IRL set up. We're gonna really. And then I just fucking got busy with life, and you get fucking busy, man. Let me see. I was gonna test the camo so I can use my phone. Right? Come here, Elgato. Go to the app on my phone. And it's crazy how much time has gone by. Like, that really don't seem... the fucking Half-Life stream did seem like a long time ago. Okay, this should work now. Do this. Oh, Shauna, this bit. Yeah, you did do that. Oh, look at him lurking. He was listening the whole time. He could tell you a story. But Bot Gaming, I don't feel like your name was Superman in the beginning, though. Yeah, see Sean, see that first logo? Yep, he was there at the very beginning. It'd be like that where you felt motivated, then you can get busy with something. So it's, bro, life, I don't understand how people, like, have social life plus work plus hobbies. Like, motherfucker, I don't have, right now I'm unemployed. I'm like, I barely got time to do the shit I want to do in a day. Like, how? Like, how the fuck? And them motherfuckers have kids. Like, you gotta sacrifice something. But okay, let me stop yapping. Don't come on here yapping. Let me see this. I should do this. I should do this. Yeah. Okay. Turn off. This is honestly, I just like the tech side of streaming. I don't want to be a streamer. I just want to have like a ridiculous random shit of myself. It was Superman. I changed my name last. I want to go back to the VOD. I want to see my house in the background. Okay. I think I could do audio from the phone too. Let me see. I just want to set this up wide angle and slowly clean my room. Camera mono. It's too much, but this is a testing stream, so it's not supposed to be good. Here's what we had for dinner. Fucking dad. I shouldn't say fucking like it was bad. It was good. Pot roast type shit. Okay, bang bang. Does that work? Mute. Yeah. This is the live mic. This should be the real mic. This is me. Chat mic. And then it should be me. Yeah. But the phone video. Okay, but then if I move around, but you know what? You know what I'm saying? Hey, I appreciate you guys helping me. Good now, so this is a dog shit stream. And I think most of my streams are going to be dog shit streams. And I realize you're not going to be a streamer. You have to stream because you want to. You're not going to fucking change the game. So welcome to dog shit. Where's the tripod at? This is why moving is just insane. You just have too much shit. Look at all this shit I have. There's already been too many. Like, bro, niggas got 300K viewers now. Like, celebrities just hopping on stream. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just talking like the mindset of a small streamer. Like, oh, I gotta do that. Like, I'm just gonna stream when I feel like it. I was always like, I gotta come back to like a banger. Fuck that. If I'm shitty, I'm shitty. Sometimes shitty's like the best shit though. You got fucking Will Smith. I mean, once Will Smith show up, you know it's over. You know it's gone too corporate. I don't know what to do. I don't know where my tripod is. If Kevin Hart show up on a streamer stream, you know it's over, bro. Kevin Hart and Will Smith? That's crazy. Who else is left? If The Rock. The Rock is the last one that needs to show up. Come on, gang. Come on now. Hey, GG. Hey, GG, I saw you message me late after that first stream. What up, G? I'm good. Kai Sinap finna do it. Yeah, The Rock on stream. Vinyl collector. Yes, I did become a vinyl collector in the past 3 years. I had to catch up with hella old albums. I'm talking to y'all right here. I wish I can get it on the phone, but it sounds goofy. Oh, and GG still got the mod. What's up? Still in a box. I already showed this, but y'all wasn't here. That is sexy as fuck. That is sexy. Okay, now let me show it off. The setup though, the setup is crazy. Okay. Actually, we're gonna go Ice Spice because she's already on there. We both waste, dude, it's so expensive. I gave up shoes and I just found like the next expensive thing. It literally motivates me to like work though. I've literally been door dashing. Like I'm selling my house, I'm moving back home. Like I'm gonna have like, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have a little bit of money, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just put it into my cars and just random shit to collect. Wait. Let me shut the fuck up. Okay, hold on. Boom. Hold on. I don't even remember how the Munch song goes. Like that song was so hot that I was feeling you. And they got much, yeah. I'm watching the show with a little brother. Hey, we got the gang back. We got the gang back again. Because I was just here a couple months ago. See, I just got paid. DoorDash. But anyways, I need to clean. What's poppin'? What's good? I need to find a tripod. I realize I have a lot of trouble focusing on like once I already said this last time. I get fucking distracted. So I'm gonna shut the fuck up and clean. And actually
the top of my lungs because my hair gets dirt like messy. And I don't like that. I want my hair to be nice and in order. Woo. Let's go. Autopilot is doing great.
fuck, I fucking broke it. I don't want to break it. I'm bald right now, by the way. Oh my god, don't show that. Extra Emily, dude, she is insanely. She's like old Twitch to me. Like she just does dumb stuff. I don't want to watch like a setup thing. Okay, so I can turn down. I am overwhelmed right now. I need to just find my fucking tripod. Copy.
The fun of the prediction. Bam, 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 bam. Thank you.
Highly recommended Celly.
Ooh, okay. Wait, I'll look at that order when I get into the drive-through. Okay. We are almost there. Sweet dreams are made of bleep. Bloop blop bleep. Wait, Walgreens. That could be an order, right? Or does Walgreens close? No. Maybe after we hit $100 tomorrow, chat, we can get a waffle. Get some breakfast. I haven't had a waffle in a hot minute, and that's like my favorite thing to eat for breakfast. It's I only go to First Watch. It's like a breakfast chain, and they have the most delicious waffles in the world. So buttery, and I haven't had one in like I think a year. So I am down to celebrate with a waffle tomorrow. If I can even keep my eyes open. Oh, thank you, thank you. Thank you for the 5.
Heaven Atex tipped $5. Thanks for always being energetic and positive, even though it's late and you're tired, just to entertain us.
Aw, no problem. I'm sitting, so this is quite easy. It's when I'm like running around IRLing all the time, then I get a little tired. And don't get me started on the heat stroke. That's when I am definitely out of it. But now that I'm sitting all peacefully and plopped in my chair, it's chill. I feel low key like a truck driver, you know? I'm just talking and yapping, and it's cool that chat's here to hear my yaps. Yap, yap, yap. Okay, I think it's up here. Some Whataburger. Ooh, great, great. Let's get our chicken. Wants to rule the world.
Yeah?
Doesn't this song remind you of Breakfast Club?
I don't know what the fuck just happened.
From Breakfast Club. Kinda silly.
Wait, is this the phone mic? No, this is my good mic. Did you hear me talking about the bowling pin or no?
People don't even use Instacart. People just DoorDash or like Uber Eats. What am I doing? Is Instacart even popping these days? I think if I do DoorDash grocery, I would definitely make more.
I did not hear about the bowling pin. This is just lovely.
Like what?
This is just lovely. I'm back.
That's one platform
There we go.
that I haven't done anything on.
Swag.
I haven't done
So
DoorDash.
I had a bowling pin. I thought it was mine,
I mean, I'm pretty sure like they're the same.
but it's
kind of
actually
Uber Eats.
from when my brother worked at a bowling alley.
If it has
Because I threw the one for my birthday in the 3rd grade away.
a lot more people.
Because I'm minimalizing.
I don't know.
Okay.
Where is
Boom.
Whataburger, bruh?
Highest quality small streamer. Exactly.
Someone's house?
And it's a test stream from a small streamer. It's not just a stream. This is a testing stream.
They can go every day.
I was on my totally secret alt.
Alright.
But I said, fuck it. I basically have a main that's an alt.
Set your tight loose hope. Oh,
Okay.
oh, there's Whataburger. Oops. I gotta,
Does that work?
going.
There you go. I mean, who's gonna fucking watch this? If you're here, we're not. No one's watching this.
Chat.
This is just. It is what it is.
That people say I'm a bad driver.
If you have complaints,
I do
complain.
not believe it. So I don't remember who told me this, but someone got into my car and they're like, "Hey, Emily, your driving isn't that bad." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And they're like, "Oh, everyone keeps saying how you're such a bad driver." And I'm like, "Who said that?" And they're like, "No comment." And I'm like, "Okay." And then they're like, "Oh, you're not even that bad, Emily." And I'm like, "Okay, thanks."
Big screen.
So I guess it's a plus, right? I could be
Theater
worse.
projector screen, 1080.
I just
Okay.
think maybe I like have sudden stops or something. We have arrived at dinner. Finally.
Sitting in the chair, like changing the
Time to
fucking
eat.
view.
Oh, Adam, thank you! What the heck? What the? Thank you! Oh god, I gotta dance first. Thank you for the
I'm gonna get the shitty webcam. Okay, this is it.
Thank you!
You have a professional streamer in a car getting donuts. She just made 50 fucking bucks. For your feast courtesy of chat. Dude, she's a fucking millionaire. She doesn't need your fucking $50.
Wishing you a pleasant night.
Good night! Chicken strip
And
meal.
I'm over here.
Oh lord, I don't know. Thank you, 600.
There.
I
Thank you,
think you
Dennis.
drive better alone rather than when driving with other people in the
Yeah.
car. I used to be like that.
When I'm driving alone, it's all just me doing it. So maybe that is it. Okay, here we are.
This room is never gonna get cleaned.
Hello.
What camera was that?
I am excited to choose
Okay.
Whataburger today.
Oh, Camel took over
Can
that
I
camera, so
please
now I'm
have the Whata wing meal?
What flavor for you?
Huh?
The flavor? Honey barbecue would be
Yeah.
delightful.
Okay. Speaking of whatever,
What drink?
one just got built in my town to it.
Do you
I'm
have
feeling like
Sprite?
In-N-Out clears it like pretty
Perfection.
easy though.
And
Our
that's
Whataburger was
Can
like
you
a barbecue,
please add,
family at the park
the
burger.
jalapeno ranch dipping
I ain't been
sauce,
to Texas for it yet. Oh, this camera's so
as
much
well as the honey
less.
barbecue dipping sauce,
shown. Okay,
Alright, anything else for you?
I gotta try
and
it
then
though.
may I also have
In-N-Out
spicy
is my
ketchup
number one.
for the
Double animal
fries,
style,
maybe
light
like
spread, no
3
tomato.
cartons.
Side of pink lemonade.
Alright, anything else
And
for you?
then Shake
That'll
Shack
be
number
it.
2.
Thank
Shake
you.
Shack goes hard.
Alright, this will be $13.41 at the window.
What a deal! Thank you. God, he's like, get this girl out of here. Oh, did I just mess up my tire whenever I hear that noise? When it's like screeching like that? What a deal at Whataburger today, chat. Oh my geez Louise. This is great.
I know you was from Canada.
Okay. Yeah, my
Got that
my
motherfucking
tires are
poutine.
actually fucked up.
Fucking poutine.
King Tiger underscore
Thank you.
831.
We're from New
Tiger.
Mexico.
Subscribed for
In-N-Out
3
is
months.
rumored to come to my state
And,
2027.
Thank you, Eric, for the tier
Eric
1.
gonna be the president.
318 just
Turning
subscribed.
too early. Who cares about the tires? Oh wow,
Yes, you
chat. There's absolutely nothing available. Damn, that's rough. Instacart L forces you to play Elden Ring in between throughout the night. There's not a single thing. Okay, probably not getting anything. Brum, 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 brum. Hear me say, I need a new
Green chili cheeseburger. Hold on.
day. Since you've been gone.
Green chili? Oh, they do have chilies, huh? I never got the chilies before.
Okay, how far
I
are we
just
from
recently saw
from
that you're
home?
supposed to ask for it.
Okay, 10 minutes away from
Nah,
home.
bro. No, don't do that.
Great.
Don't do that. All you need is an animal style. That's the problem. People go to In-N-Out and they don't get
66.
animal style.
90
They just say, can I get a double-double?
Subscribed for
Animal
16
style,
months.
light
Gotta do
spread,
it
because they
early.
put hella spread on that bitch.
That's why we're
No
gonna
tomato,
stay
'cause
up
who the
all
fuck
night and
likes
play
tomato?
Elden Ring. Yay! Do you think I could even beat one big boss tonight? If I'm like delusional, like if I'm like I'm like falling asleep in my chair.
They're not in New
Can
Mexico.
I beat one boss?
So
I
you
think
have,
if I have like the adrenaline
they have
and
green
stuff,
chili
it should
cheeseburger
work.
and they not in New Mexico.
We're committing.
In-N-Out is in New
Why is
Mexico,
my
but they
thumb
don't
so
have a green
long
chili.
looking?
What are you saying? In-N-Out
Argentina
is
won.
here.
There have been 2 soccer games. I just want to show off my sandals.
It's too hot.
Aren't they so cute? They're SpongeBob themed. If you see the oh they're mad. They left. I like the right shoe because it's Patrick
There's no way they have the
Swimming.
green chilies because it's a New Mexico thing.
so cute.
Also, you said they need to bring that over.
Look how happy
You're gonna
he
bring your
looks.
green chilies over from New Mexico.
Yes, these are my new
Okay.
favorite shoes. I like them a lot. But I feel like they only look they look cool with socks. So I'm a socks and sandals person. Oh, it's me. Why'd they leave? Oh, hello. Hi. Yes.
Miata.
What's
Hey, I
a-
bought a
oh, this
Miata
is a
too in the
3.
past 4 years.
Yeah.
Sway bar.
I like the 3 a lot.
I'm saying if they build one here, they need to have one on the menu because
I think it's
you
the
know
cheapest
something wrong.
one.
The Sonic's McDonald's. Sonic fell the fuck off. I don't know what the fuck Sonic doing.
Oh,
I don't
the
know.
plaid
They
is
got rid of the
great.
Chicago dog.
That's awesome.
Only thing they got for me is tater tots and slushies. On their territory.
Because the other charger near my
And you get a
apartment
check,
is
though?
faster.
You get a
and,
check though?
Then I can eat. And
Said
then
the
maybe
Res
get
W,
another
bro. The
order.
Res, hey, I can go there sometimes.
I should probably check.
I got the little basketball gym hook up there. 27. Oh, I ain't got no lights for you, GG. What do I even
Is
have?
anyone mad?
It don't matter. It
Is
don't
anyone
work.
up in arms?
My idea is like I just want to live stream me
Those fries
driving
smell delicious, bro.
and like somehow
And
have
you
chat
can't eat,
be read while I'm
you
driving because
can't eat
legally you
wet
can't read
fries
chat.
or
Like I just want to
soggy
like
fries
travel the US.
slash cold
Have
fries.
chat going. Tony Hawk is
Guys,
like
inhale
last year.
those
He did like
ASAP.
a hidden gifting like right by Pachanga
Delicious.
by the res over here. And me and my brother went, but we were too late. He left like a skateboard.
We love an impromptu overnight stream. Those are so fun.
Got me on it. Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna go right back at them at 6 a.m. Early birds. That's us. Early bird. Here's the road. Nice and empty.
Actually, I was about to say something. I ain't gonna say that.
When's the last time you guys had a sleepover?
Come on,
What is a
gang.
sleepover? Is that
It's my shirt
like with your
every
friends?
day.
That'd be fun. I mean, I kind of want to have a sleepover. Could I get some popcorn and stuff?
2 gray hills.
Thank you. The only food I have at home right now is chicken noodle soup. You guys want some chicken noodle soup? That could be the sleepover
If
meal.
there's like community to like
Delicious.
one person. Honestly, LeBron, he just plays so long.
And then, chat! At 4 a.m., should we say ghost stories? Oh, maybe if I don't beat Elden Ring, I should just say some ghost stories. There's a really good one called Drip Drip Drip. That one's kind of
I do
scary,
not like these no more. Crimson Tint
but it would
Jordan
be
ones.
good.
They've been sitting on my Facebook for like 3 years. No one wants to buy them. They're in great condition.
Bebop, bebop, boop. Bebop, bebop, boop. Oh, Gwen. We're gonna do all the sleepover activities! Yay!
Actually, you feel me? That's like 10 years. But since high school, I try to be to do with the shoes. I'm like way behind, but I got some.
That's my
I'm proud of it.
That's my shit.
Shout out to IKEA. That's literally like probably $800 worth of IKEA stuff.
Niche memory that I wanted to say. So my parents have a karaoke machine at
Yeah,
home.
this is just ridiculous.
It's like a
This is just ridiculous.
fancy karaoke machine where it's a bunch of
That's the next
Chinese songs and almost like no English songs, okay? But they have this song on the karaoke machine, this Gwen Stefani song. And I was like 15 years old, I was like pretty young, and I queue up Holla Back Girl on the karaoke machine. And it's the dirty version. And I'm like, oh my god, I can't say that word.
Is that the
Like,
Wolverine one?
Shit, I can't
The
say that.
Marvel cook,
And
but that's
then
what happened over
it
the
would
last
like
4
pop
years.
up on the screen,
fell the fuck
and I'd be
off.
like, whoa.
Like what?
That's
I
like-
went and I saw
And they're like, and my
Inside
mom's
Out
like,
2 though.
Emily, you're doing great. Go
Inside
ahead,
Out is like
sing the
cheating for
song.
Pixar. Like
And I
it's
was
too
like,
easy for them to make a
I
good ass
can't.
movie.
And she doesn't know that
Like
shit.
every
with bad
person
words.
alive should see that fucking movie.
I'm like, I can't say that. She's like, go ahead, you're
It's just
singing
like
awesome.
psychology.
Good job. And I'm like, no. And then it's just like this explicit version.
I'm gonna have to wait for.
Yeah, that's my niche memory.
I'm gonna
Thank
have
you
to wait
for coming
for
to my TED Talk.
Marvel a little bit. I was trying to watch
But I didn't start cussing until I
Moon
was
Knight, and it was good, but I'm just like, it's so much shit. I gotta watch Miss Marvel, and then Marvel's the movie came out, and then the dude got fucking canceled because he was wasn't he beating his wife or some shit.
But then up to
Inside
that
Out 2
point,
was nice. I'm saying, like,
up to
literally,
that
I
point,
went to this
usually
theater. It was
wouldn't
all
cuss,
kids.
'cause I would
It was
think
fucking
it's
crying and
dirty.
yelling, but it was the nicest fucking movie.
But I do remember
It was so
a specific
good.
moment
It was,
that,
I
was,
because I
like,
hate on
in fifth
DreamWorks all the
grade. I
time.
was
I've
so
always
young.
hated on DreamWorks.
And
I saw the
these kids in my
first
class,
Puss in
they're
Boots. That
like,
motherfucker,
Emily,
I
say
forget the
this
dude who
word.
voices him. That's the smooth
And I was like,
motherfucker.
"Ah!"
That
I'm
movie
like,
is so,
"No,
like,
the teacher's gonna get
adult,
mad
but
at
still good
you."
for kids.
And I'm like,
But I
"What
didn't
did
see
I
the
just
new one.
say?"
I'm sorry.
But I just like,
I need to still. I think it's on
what
HBO
is
Max
it?
too.
Saying it out the top of my lungs. Like, ah!
I'm sweating. I need to clean. I'm so overwhelmed right now. I can't even fucking think.
I'm pretty sure it was that word.
Pixar cooks
Yeah.
like 99%. The only miss,
So,
like Luca was a banger,
it said I
Soul
was a
was a
bit of a
banger.
potty mouth.
The only miss, two misses
What
actually,
like,
was
basically,
Buzz
I
Lightyear
remember
movie,
that, like,
which should have been a banger.
kids
They
that are,
fumbled
like,
that shit.
10 years
And the
old
Good
watch
Dinosaur.
me. Surely
Good
it's
Dinosaur.
bad, right?
It looked cool. They
And then
really
I
made
feel
that movie
bad.
just to show off how they can do water. I don't know what the fuck they did that whole ass movie. Yeah, I do. I know I need to see Puss in Boots. Plus, it was like, I feel like I missed out on seeing that. Rango's another good one. I don't know if that's DreamWorks though. Rango is a banger. And a cool and genuine. Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching it. I forget if it was on Netflix or HBO, but I literally just saw it. I was about to watch it.
We are 5 minutes away.
Okay.
5 minutes away to the charging place. No orders have come in yet. Do they just expect us to drive around? Ain't nobody Instacarting at midnight. I get it. Celebrate good times. Come on.
Rango was like
Cheers.
top 5 all-time movie to me cool. Like Rango was like, people need to watch this fucking movie. Like, it wasn't just this good. That movie was like Johnny Depp going to work. I forget what he said. He had an adult ass joke at the end. That movie is really adult. I'm surprised that movie was PG. Yeah, Rango, that movie, oh my god. I gotta watch it. The good thing about having awful memories, I can watch movies over and over again. Like, I'm already like, I need to watch Attack on Titan all over again. I already forgot like half the shit. And it'll be like new to me. But I just remember Rango was like, oh my god, it's like top 5. Like, my number 1 favorite movie is this motherfucker right here. Motherfucking Holes. Like, if you don't respect Holes, like, I can't talk to you. Like, Holes is that movie, but I'm like, bro, Rango's up there. It gave me the same vibe of like, this is just a good fucking movie, and it makes me happy. Back to cleaning. This is why I can't, bro. This is I was waiting to come back and be like, oh, my stream's gonna be so good when I come back. It just has to be
I have
shitty.
accepted that I
have to not
get
give a
$1
fuck.
tonight. So instead, let's just have
That's
some
the
fun.
life.
Party.
I'm always waiting for shit to be perfect.
Sunday
I'm
night
waiting for Sonic the
party
Hedgehog. I think my
time.
brother is too. My brother
I
loves
was
Sonic.
definitely in denial.
I heard the movie's
I was
really good
like,
too.
no way is it gonna be this
I got a
bad.
lot, dude. I have so much to catch up on. I burnt the fuck out and just, I had to just take a couple years to just fuck off.
That's pretty good.
You don't gotta get, we can chase your shoes, we don't care what you, that's what, bro, that's why I was on my alt today. And I'm like, okay, and someone actually came in from the fucking Czech Republic. I was like, what the fuck, no fucking way. I'm like, bro, it's the same shit. No one is like, oh, we need him to come back and fucking, I feel like I need to top my Last of Us 2 era.
I thought it was like
On the YouTube too, but I'm like, I haven't posted shit on YouTube either. So anyway, sometimes you gotta go somewhere though. Sometimes you gotta
I
just
gotta
like,
go.
you gotta lose it and then get it back to like
Oh
appreciate it.
Lord.
I ain't gonna say I'm gonna stream every day, but if I'm playing some shit, I'm gonna
never
just hop
killed
on.
something with my tires, I think. Honestly, ignorance is
Ooh,
bliss. I prefer
that
to know
outrage.
if I did not.
Ooh, what they gonna say? I feel so
never
bad
hit
for
a
Neil. You
deer
guys see
with my
Neil at that
car.
award show? He said
That's
like,
good.
you said like the F word on accident. I forget what he said, but I'm like, oh no, Neil. Let me look that up. What did he say? Like, we need to protect this man at all costs. Game awards presentation.
Alright.
Like, he's been through enough. Like, they cook him in the Instagram. I hate that so much when I see the comments and they're just like, oh, fucking you. Where's it at?
Time tonight.
Not the Legacy Award. It was like the Video Game Awards. F.
Okay, we're here.
Misrepresenting his words, yeah. Oh no, that was for the
That was
article.
not me who burped.
I imagine people
it
to
was
get
a
mad about the
demon.
thing. Dude, I can't. I feel like people gotta be like over that
better.
shit by now. People gotta be over it. And I hope the show don't get the same amount of backlash. We don't use the word
The
fun.
demon.
I wanna see it. But he was on stage, he
I'm
said the
gonna charge
wrong
this
shit.
bad boy. It charges
And
really
I
fast.
instantly went to
It beat
Twitter and
my
people were like, what did he
fries.
say? But it was like, I think he said the F word. Like the
Okay, what
anti-gay
are
F
some
word.
other fun sleepover activities? Should we do a face mask? Oh my god.
To make you care about it. But that's the thing too.
Maybe
For
we
season
level
1, I thought The Last of Us show was good, but I'm comparing it to The Last of Us game, so it was hard for me to be like, oh, it was banger. Like I'm just kind of like, I can't really even judge the show. But people seem like they liked it, but I feel like they don't have enough time in like 8 to 10 episodes to cook it like perfectly because there's so much
Did you
shit. they gotta
guys
do.
see Kim Kardashian's
There's so
face
much shit.
unphotoshopped?
What if they
I
part
can't
2
believe
season 2?
it.
So it's like season 2 Bro, that's a whole
oh,
fucking.
this one.
Let me get fucking
Please enjoy.
Y'all don't know about Mari. Let me get Mari in a motherfucking full fucking copy. Hell yeah, I would. Belle Delphine, she probably done that shit. She probably she probably sold everything that's possible to sell. Sell it to
So
Celly.
much
Here
emotion.
we go. My mouth is literally dried. I have not talked as much in a long time. Making bank shit, bro. She was the originator of that, all that extra.
Me to love you.
Yeah, that shit not even like funny.
If you
Yes.
want,
Next thing she gonna sell this milk. Ain't she already sell milk? And she sell the milky bath water. It look like milk.
it ain't no
You
way
drink it like milk.
Ain't no way. Ain't no way.
for me to give you all.
Yeah, I got the soul.
If you won't let me give all of me.
More piano? Maybe one day. My piano's bad though.
Let a woman's duty
At home. Thank you, Ron.
You're almost there, and it's only
It's
been
like
9
changing
hours.
the guards on Twitch right now. I feel like the OGs are
Finally
like,
followed
For
us
real.
up today, and this week has been so
Aw.
chaotic, but we're here for it.
everyone's
Thank
having
you.
babies and shit.
Chat and W streamer.
Thank you for the follow.
Man, that's-
From the
I
sun.
was thinking, bro, I told you I'm doing DoorDash, right? There's a girl, I'm like, she knows the meme of like, oh, like, supermodel, oh, girl at the drive-thru at McDonald's. I'm like, I almost said it to her, like, have you seen that meme of like, super hot McDonald's drive-thru girl? I'm like, she know what the fuck she doing. She got her
Gotta
hair
lick
done all
out the spicy
crazy.
ketchup.
Like, bro, everybody knows there's a bag somewhere. Someone like, oh, you should stream. Oh, you should do this. Boom. She got the McDonald's outfit already. She's solid.
Ain't no way, baby. It ain't no
Wow. Beautiful.
way for me to love you.
It's a good song. Ain't no way. Okay, next spicy ketchup.
I don't know who's watching. Who's watching shit? I don't know who's watching shit. Girl at Del Taco, bro. Oh my god. I was picking up an order. Bro, oh my. I don't even want to say nothing. I don't even want to say nothing. I don't even want to say nothing. But like, it made me. Who the fuck goes to Del Taco? It made me want to go back to Del Taco.
But
I could not believe my motherfucking.
late night
With those
Whataburger.
damn Ray-Bans with the cameras on it. Like, this shit was like documentary worthy. That shit was like top 5 all time I've seen. I'm gonna leave it at that. So shout out to Del Taco.
You just hear her crying.
Oh, it ain't no way.
What the fuck? How this thing is?
Get it, girl. I exercised yesterday. That counts.
Just ain't no way.
Okay, cars at 52%. Woo! That should be enough juice for tomorrow, I think. I hope.
It ain't no way.
Yeah, should be enough. I like this song. It's so nice. Thanks, Peter Juan.
If you want
So fast. I am chomping. Sorry, this is my first time eating.
Man, the
I
same.
eat all.
They was delivering two at the same time. Nah, that's a setup, bro. That's a setup.
That song was titled "Ain't No Way."
And delivery drivers
If you
was
weren't-
2 people, 2
if you
pretty
weren't
feeling.
aware.
Hey, bro, that's, oh my god, that's a layup.
Oh wow.
That's God saying, hey, here you go,
Banger.
here's your chance. What's the opening line though you gonna say though? I got no game like that. What would you say? They open the door, hey, your pizza's here. 2 Domino's girls? I would just say, oh, thank you. Oh wow, thank you. And then just close the door and then think like, I should have said, what would I say then? I would say, why is it 2 of y'all? Like y'all needed 2 people to deliver the pizza? and then hopefully they would laugh, and then from there you just gotta go off the top of the head.
Hey,
You gotta go freestyle from there.
that one kind of.
Because if they don't laugh, you're just kind of like, oh fuck, they're not fucking me.
I'm gonna finish.
Pizzas are more important. Thanks for the pizza.
Square, and then we're gonna go.
No, there's there for safety. Okay, stranger danger. Take a partner with you.
Wait, I didn't pick
That
the
actually, I
order.
had 2 like Jehovah Witnesses, but they weren't
Any
Jehovah
orders?
Witnesses, and they were like, "Can we come
No.
in and just pray with you?" I'm like, ain't no way they going house to house, like just trying to pray with motherfuckers. Like, nah. They was either trying to be on some freaky shit or on some
Bright and
like
early, that's when we
like
start
what
again.
they say, like spot out the house, like look inside the house to see what they got to steal.
I haven't been up at 6 a.m. in so long.
Like it was like 4 ladies,
This will be like a.
all different ages. It was like middle age, like old lady, and then like 2 30-year-olds. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, nah, I'm good, but I'm gonna watch y'all on my fucking ring camera.
I got chicken. Ain't no way. I like the chicken when I'm gaming. Can't read mine, no, we can't read 'em up. Woo! Delish. Dinner can't wake me up. Right. Okay, done.
I'm gonna go speed mode
Click, click.
and just fucking throw everything somewhere where it's not on the ground. Even though I've been saying that.
Great. I will eat the rest at home.
Yeah, it's like old
I
time
gotta
trying to
change
get all
my
the messages.
glasses. Oh no.
I had 2 female Mormons knock on my door. I open up. They pretty much question me about the Bible, which I don't read. So they gave me a book, but other than that, 2 Mormons honestly pretty.
60%
I don't get what they do.
Let's go.
I don't get why they have to like. They be hot as fuck, and they be out there with a white little pin-up shirt,
Guys, don't make fun of my apartment.
like not
I
even
feel
sweating.
comfortable
They just be
showing you
walking
guys
out the
this is
house.
Midnight crew.
There gotta be some money involved.
But I'll clean it
I'm going that
eventually,
hard for
okay?
whatever God
Make
is
sure you
using.
guys please don't
Around
please don't make
suburbs,
fun
just
of me.
walking motherfuckers'
It's
houses,
really bad.
getting nose all day. No, thank you. No. With the no sweat, they got that Asian buff somehow.
It literally
No
looks
sweating,
like
but hella
my
wide.
old room. It's so bad. I thought I was gonna improve.
There we go.
Oh,
Over there.
okay.
That's the last of the mess.
Time to go home. Excuse me. Thank you. Leave 100.
I need a 360 camera so y'all can control it. I don't want to be doing this shit.
I will avoid that. Okay. Thank you. 100 bits.
There we go.
No comment. Okay. Anyway, I will no comment.
Actually, this is how I started my content creation. My first video was like how to
Okay,
clean your
we
room.
need our final song.
It was in this very room. I just
Final
literally
song.
fast motioned me
My
cleaning the room.
favorite.
I was like, this is how you clean your room. Thanks for watching. And that was like peak comedy back in like 2000.
This is me to my Instacart orders.
If you look up, I think MC
I
Dizzlefly.
was wrong.
MC Dizzlefly, you'll find
Now
all my
you're
original
gone.
videos from middle school Celly.
It was fun, Tesla.
Yeah, just stupid. I was like, this is gonna go viral because I was like, people are
Get a
gonna Google how to
7-hour break
clean,
and then you'll be
how to
back,
breathe.
back out there, buddy. You're me out right now. What sound like music to me? Please come home, 'cause I miss you, Gary. Gary, come home. If you listen to the lyrics, chat, it's actually quite beautiful. It is very beautiful. Gary, can't you see I was blind? I'll do anything to change your mind. Wow, wow. Wow, wow. More than a pet, you're my best friends. Ah, such a good song.
I love music. I do see small
Forgive me for making you wanna roll. Now my heart is beating like the saddest metronome. Somewhere I hope so. Counting back up. My latest dream were cold. Gary, come home. 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 Wow.
I saw that, boys. Martin Lawrence looked like he's struggling, bro. That movie was decent, but oh my god. Martin Lawrence looks like he got some type of health issue or something like that. Like he was on some Joe Biden shit or something.
Great. Okay. We're home. Ha ha ha.
When Reggie went fucking Matrix mode.
Okay, let's
and it's the
shake on
same
it.
fucking
No
dude. That's the
making
cool.
fun of my apartment. I know it's a mess.
That and Will Smith like, basically getting slapped because of the Chris Rock shit. Like he got slapped like 5 times. At the
At
end.
least I'm
He
aware
was like
that it is
spacing out.
messy. Okay?
You know they did that shit all right.
So awareness is the first step. At least in the past, I was in denial that it was messy, but now I know it's messy. Okay? Shake on it. Thank you. No making fun of me. Okay. Before I go in, I'm gonna pack up my bag. Here. It is so messy. Like it is bad. It's your love. It's your love. And make that back.
It was still sweating on the bed, yeah.
I'm gonna charge this phone. Well, wait, no. Yeah, I'll charge that phone later. This phone was here. Alright. Bye. See you guys inside. Now, where are my keys? No, keys. Oh. Where are they? Let me get out of my car. Nothing there. Found them! Great. They are hiding. Hey! Let's go. What am I with the... Woo! I used to have an air tag on these. I just haven't put that back. Just in case. Then it can beep if I lose it. I'll probably put them back. Okay, bye chat. See you back at the apartment. Bye! Thanks for staying up with me. We're definitely going to hit $100 tomorrow morning. Oh.
Dominic, it's on you. Yes, he's got the death save. He's got the death save. Come on, Dominic. Come on. Come on. Point nine,
Water break.
point
I'm gonna
four.
get an Apex game in.
Get away, Aram. Aram, get away if you need to. Aram, get away if you need to. Come on. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? Shit. Do it again. Make sure you guys have your food buff. Let's go again. Let's go again.
Why did I vibe so hard?
Stay focused with those. Do not.
Okay. Wait, was that? Is that?
Oh yeah, isn't that this
normal
week?
to-
Isn't that
to
like in a
laugh
week or
at?
something?
Was that an understandable
I
laugh?
can't believe they finally did that
like,
fucking
"Oh,
game. Perfect timing too, because the players can actually get paid. They got their real names on it.
So keep that in mind.
That shit's gonna go that shit might bring back Madden.
Just resubscribe.
They can just copy paste that shit. Wait, why is this broken now?
You can only yacht when it makes sense.
Because the gameplay, like they had the receiver and
Slowly working
everything
our
like
way up.
moving
How about you go
before,
up and I film you from the side like
like before the snap. Like it looks so sick.
go the other side though.
They got the low bomber shit.
No, you're saying
Alright, good luck,
can
good
I
luck.
drag you? Come on, hurry up. Chip
boom.
chop here.
Bro.
Should be good now.
Come on, gotta. Wait, why are we?
Okay. I'm gonna get one game in. I'm gonna end this motherfucker. I'm gonna just chill, get some more dinner. But the room is basically clean, dog. I'm glad you came up to this motherfucker. Gigi came to this motherfucker. Sean was in this motherfucker. And yeah, I'm just gonna, like, I'll just hop on. Like, I'm not gonna have a schedule. But I just want to be live when I'm playing shit. Even if no one's there, like, I just want to do it. Okay. Let's get a dub. Not ending until I get a dub. No. I gotta play the song of the summer. $120 million. Mexican Lopez is in the game. Me and my friend made us sing history of the playoff, bro. Actually, I think my cousin went there. My cousin went there too. That's gonna be so tough. Like this, I saw the USC field in the trailer. Like it's just, I don't know what took them so long. So now they need to do the same shit for basketball, so 2K can have some competition.
You got a job to do, so shit your goddess.
Yeah, look the game audio. Team USA bumping this shit like it's over. Cell block 1. And then Dr. Disrespect. You can, like, everybody, like Cat Williams brought all this shit on us. All this crazy shit, Trump getting shot at, like,
I'm the gym master.
it's on Trump, bro. Or it's on Cat Williams. I'm gonna do my stuff. Yeah, 1 team, bro.
We should inspect that area.
Hey, if I get this house damn set, I'm gonna have a chance. Oh, this ain't even ranked. It's all good. Not ending until I get a win. Bro, they took the Prowler out, put the Prowler back in since I've been absent. I'm coming, Rafe.
Trap set.
Ooh.
Elaborate.
Okay.
Healing up. Eyes are open though.
I didn't even drop my health point.
Fucking fire.
I'm dead. I'm dead as fuck.
Rings there by 1 minute. Go on now. Say hello.
Gas trap deployed.
Oh, he gonna roll past? Oh, he saw me. Fuck.
45 seconds. Pressure 6 soon.
Yeah, we've been playing Apex. Welcome back to the motherfucker. Ain't shit changed. Just playing before we play it out.
Getting shot.
Huh? How do you get water? He just jump off. Oh, I hit him. Low shield. Oh, now I got
I'm I'm ready to
No, I can't hit the button. I'm freaking walking. Hey, what the fuck? I am overwhelmed this far. I have 3 speakers playing music right now. I'm not saying that. What you, bro? No. What's her name? Watson. Thunder Kitty Watson. I need to get that skin. Watson is my favorite. Loba was like the easy one to choose for obvious reasons for a little while. But Watson, bro, come on now. What are we doing here? Don't you take my lifeline. Don't you take my lifeline.
come on with the
Wow. Wow.
keep calm and don't blow a fuse.
The tingles from the shock to A. As long as you don't fucking Emperor Palpatine me, I'm good, bro. Hey, cops get tased, they come out just fine. I'll be alright. I'm telling you, look up Thunder Kitty Watson. They knew what they were cooking.
I'm the jump master.
Loba though.
I am honored.
Loba though. Loba's like obvious though. Like they're farming.
Finish it, Landier.
Her quotes are crazy.
Heard that.
Hell yeah.
I don't get how they make money on this game though. Like the skins are so trash. Outside of like 3 for like each character, like
You can't beat the view from up
we
here.
need to just come out with like a full multiplayer game. I don't know what we're doing. Like COD, like Chef Team Deathmatch, like all the money's all in. It's the same dude. No. Look at this skin, bro. I'm saying like this. That's my shit. Like, this, I would buy it if they let me. What's up, Lifeline? What's up, Lifeline? I'm the only Lifeline. I'm the only Lifeline. That's 4 punches. Oh, this dude did a fucking somersault on my ass. Where's my team? Where y'all at, bro? I'm in this bitch alone.
Wait, are they running away?
Come here, bitch. Oh, almost.
Running away and boxing?
1 minute.
I'm about to die. I just juked the fuck out of him. I juked the fuck out of him. Thank you, Lifeline. What is my upgrade even?
Fence him out.
Revive allies. I get a gun.
Oh, look who stepped up. Will any brave soul step up to them?
How do I cancel the grenade?
Pass me that sugar.
There you go. Q.
on the clock. Let's move.
Nah, they got me. And we got hella loot. This is the dub right here. I'm gonna get the dub. I'm gonna get off.
Extended light magia. Level 4.
Oh, I gotta give her the fucking.
On it.
Knockdown shield
Don't
here.
you fucking take
Level
it.
4.
Nah, bro. What you doing? Hey, drop that. Yeah, here you go.
This future champion thinks they're
Knockdown
better
shield
than
here.
you.
If they don't know to get the lifeline shield, you better bring your ass get this lockdown shield.
Quick ring update for ya. We ain't in it.
Hey, Matcha Tayaki, come here.
The knockdown shield here. Level 4.
Got us a new kill leader.
There we go.
Wouldn't mind saying good day to him.
Why are we, I just been running in circles. One thing I've learned the past few years, I'm fucking retarded. My brain does not work. Ooh, I missed this. Oh, and I'm dead.
Enemy very close.
See one.
Truth, I'm down.
Looks like a care package is coming in.
Nice. That's what I would have did. Yeah, that's what I would have did.
Fence deployed. Someone passes through here. Will not.
Goes the old knuckle cluster.
Oh, that shit was 3D as fuck. Tap me. Okay, this lifeline's good. Oh, don't get me. Don't shoot me, please. gotta dip. This. Look at that juke. Hey, you're a good lifeline. I'm sorry for being mad at you. Gotta get one win. One win or I have to spin the wheel. Cable management is a fucking must. Holy shit. I have an Apple HomePod right where my mouse is supposed to be.
Come on, we've got work to do.
Hey, let's go already.
Salvo. Loyal to the soil, blood to the bone.
What the fuck is this map?
I love this part.
What is that? I wanna go over there.
Down another enemy.
Oh, that's got a kick.
Health drone if you need it. Just
Bad guys, let's do this.
reload it. Don't worry, Silva. It just shows how we survive. Enemy shields broke.
Squad down.
There's a gold knock
Squash
somewhere. I
that
kinda
last
want
dig.
it.
I leveled up. Now let's get an upgrade. Now that's an upgrade.
Recharging my shields, cuzzies.
Come on, say hello. Got some extra supplies.
Charging up my shields.
Nemesis wingman.
Healing up. About a bit average, eh?
Right. That's better. So then you can't see my nerdiness. 2 HP. Maybe I should open like.
Can't see the fucking.
Yeah, lifeline the knockdown shields in that death box inside that first building.
Where's the first building?
Fine. I gotta charge my phone.
Make a beeline there, cuzzies.
Like in the corner.
Looks like
Arm up, cuzzies.
I was just in
Gonna
here.
hop up here. Make sure you're reloaded.
Hey, my man.
Care package over there. Let's get on that.
Yeah, this is all I want my stream to be like, having another streamer as I just play some, unless it's like a story game. I don't want to
Optics
be
here.
yapping.
Close
like
range.
I bloody want it.
I can't think right now. Like, I'm trying to
Make a
get a
beeline there,
dub, and I'm
cuzzies.
like, what do I need for loot? Dude?
Attention.
Hard
I
to
hate
street.
this rock.
He's got time.
You kill leader? That eight's got a Maggie-sized target on their back.
So many things going on for like a TikTok video. Dude, I legit, I forget who was having drama. Someone was having like serious like cheating relationship drama. They had like 8 different, they had like the chopping soap video going. I actually loved it.
Sleepover experience. I must change into my.
I don't think I have
temperature.
ADHD, but I
The
fucking loved it.
fire looks so realistic.
Like Shroud is just like on point, like with stream, but he doesn't really play
Enemy
much.
over there.
He
Killing and drilling.
just kind of locks in.
Half the squad's still alive. Let's monarchy him the Salvonian way.
I'm legit struggling to
Chuck
think.
it a frag.
Are they trying to peek through these windows? Yeah, look at you. Look at
Their shield now.
Look at that fucking dime on there.
Make your fire proud, wrecking ball.
Must go.
Tearing it up, speed giant. Reload.
Man, here we go. The movement. Why'd my gun go away? Why did my gun go away? I did not get through. This fucking got a full shield.
I will now edit that.
Hey, that's my bad.
Playing Elemental
I think I need to play ranked.
6 a.m.
I think I play retarded when I play.
A bad effort.
Oh yeah, I started saying
6
retarded again
a.m.
because everyone started saying retarded again. I
Uh,
play dumb when I play fucking.
$66
That'll be my excuse.
out of 100.
Oh, I got something gold. What is this? A gold banner? Ooh, like, what are they
Okay.
doing? Who's paying money for this?
That's good.
Who cares?
Maybe I should put like
And I can't even buy the damn skins. Because you gotta
play
wait.
Golden Ring. I have made $50.
I don't even know how to buy the damn skins. Oh, cool. Hey, I'm buying that. That's close enough. What the fuck? How much is 1800? I have no money right now. I am broke as fuck. I need to sell my house.
Good. Right.
What? That was like Cyber Kitty. What the fuck? That was like
Great.
another version of it.
And now I'm gonna go charge my stuff so you guys can listen to this nice music.
What is she doing?
Okay.
Elden Ring. Everyone's playing
Let me charge this.
Elden Ring. Let's just watch Queen Effie.
And sometimes I'll buy cottage cheese, and sometimes I'll buy rice
Third
crackers.
house sold now. They're
So
trying to sell my
that's
parents'
also
house
where
too.
I shake things up a little bit.
I'm on house
That's where I shake things up a little
two
bit.
houses in, 2 houses out, 2 years each. Yeah, because the new DLC. Yeah, I know, but I'm like, bro, that game is hard, and it's like people who don't even play games like that are like OnlyFans girls are playing that shit.
What were you eating before when you had big boobs?
I didn't even see
When I
Lobos.
had big boobs, I was not taking my thyroid medication, and because
She
of
was just
that,
fat.
it caused me to gain a large amount of weight eating close
Okay, here
to
we go.
I see
This
someone
is
over
ranked.
there.
This is serious.
So, and
Let's go there.
Oh, we're hot dropping.
I'd eat one meal a day, and it would be from I would order it. It would be from a
Well, she is. Her
This
whole stream
place
is just
that
talking,
made
but she's funny
noodles.
sometimes.
and also yeah, I was drinking a lot. That probably most of my calories
talking
came
about how she
from
lost her boobs
drinking
or something.
like a nuts amount.
A nuts amount.
Like I would drink an insane amount. So that probably a lot of it came from that. Okay, that'll do it.
Tossing jump drive.
Damn it.
Deploying head drone. Recharging my
Is that
shield.
okay? The only person that decides if that's okay is me. My opinion does not matter on how you look.
Shields recharge. Frag out.
Ah, I threw it too hard.
Till the ring closes. Another shield that guy. Light ammo here.
You drank like a fish and now all you eat is
Put the
fish.
heal.
Come here, baby.
No,
She down?
it's not 100x.
Damn! Can I throw my heat shield on him?
And we can all say it's
Reloading.
what? Idiot Holy.
Looking for supplies here. Into fire. Don't stay there yet. You and me now. Reloading.
And I'm down. Oh,
On our
fuck.
Reloading. Let me feel crack. Don't worry, I got a squad mate's banner. Stop flying.
Oh my god, I got it. It's like 8 niggas in there. You should run.
Anyways.
She's struggling right now.
God.
She's been streaming for like 8 hours.
Room. What do you mean? 3.
Divine feminine energy.
No.
Honestly, prank called Baby Ray, bro, and she didn't pick up. So now I'm actually gonna call her.
I want to play X Defiant. I saw someone playing that. I don't know anything about that game. But I remember it's ranked. Is it like sweaty? I think I saw someone do a sponsor stream of that today. X Defiant. XD. Oh, is it like its own fucking loader? Own launcher? It's not on Steam?
What's good? Yo, my fault. You busy?
Yeah, I'm eating green barbecue right now.
Oh.
It's
By
like
yourself?
Colin Hoover. Oh,
Wait, why
that's the
are you on
one.
Discord?
Cause
People were saying it was going to flop.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't mean to call you. I don't want to disturb you. It's just like they missed you a lot. Yeah. Shit. What you eating? Let me see. Turn the camera around. I want to see what you got to eat.
I'm eating Korean barbecue.
Wait, let me see the
And then
what
Sony
meat
has
you
one
got.
coming out
Can I
too.
see?
Exclusive for PlayStation.
No,
Another hit list.
yeah.
Huh? Why not?
Yeah.
Fuck ranked.
What you mean?
No.
I
I
can't?
leave.
Because it just can't.
Oh. Well, shit. I mean, you look good today.
Yeah.
Huh?
She with a man.
Oh, they're adding stuff from Rainbow Six to that game?
Look at this TV on my face.
They can see your beautiful face, yes.
Oh, Jesus.
I wish I can get back into Siege. I forgot how to play that damn game.
I like your new chain.
That game is so
Can I have the
complicated.
My what?
I like your new
Everyone
necklace.
knows
Can I have the
every
jade
angle
one?
in that game.
I know.
Trust your senses.
Can I have the jade one?
Dude, this dude is popping off. This dude
Can I have
is
the
taking
jade
over the
one?
world right now.
What?
He literally
I
has
have
like
the
a different
jade
girl
one?
every stream and does like a date.
You're not gonna wear that shit. Nobody say like you're gonna freak it up.
Why wouldn't I? I don't got my neck empty as fuck right now.
What is that fucking noise?
I'll let you be on your Korean barbecue date.
Any suggestions?
You have a good day. You said what?
Good match. I say we land here.
Alrighty.
We can cruise over there.
Prepare for battle.
Oh. Snooze or lose. Actually, Splinter Cell. Okay, that's hard too. So they're gonna bring all the damn. Was Splinter Cell Ubisoft? They're gonna bring Ezio in that bitch. Oh yeah, we're not ranked. I forgot.
Fuck, she moved on, bro.
We're switching to your other weapons faster than reloading. Oh, that nigga in the mix.
I didn't apply him up pressure, bro. Fuck! I was trying to apply pressure, bro.
There's too much noise in my ears.
I mean,
it's okay, Casa.
That's she bad as hell. What the fuck?
I mean, I didn't
You got
apply
a baddie
enough pressure.
every stream.
I was trying to be nonchalant, bro.
She busy right now, G.
Oh, look, she doing chores just like me. Speaking of which, they want to add an assassin faction. By they, I mean the fans. That would be hard. If they got like upgraded knives, you can do like the gun at the knife gun at the wrist. That would be tough.
I just need some quick
Ubisoft needs to do something. I don't think Assassin's Creed, even though the Japan one is. Look at this. Look at Watson, bro. I don't even know what skin that is.
Charged and ready.
Oh my god. I realized too. What show was it? I think Avatar. There was like this meme of like these girls shaped the girls that you like the midriff. Oh my god. Don't let me stop talking. My mama down the fucking hallway. The midriff clears anything. Clears fucking anything. Any skin is like that and buy it.
Leading the way.
I'll drop.
I say we land here. Get ready. Moving up. Might be something good that way.
God damn. Hey, good luck.
An enemy landed near me.
I got a backpack and a fucking ninja star. Bitch. Oh my god. He looked at me. He looked at me as a fucking down. Hey bro, res me bro. I'm resable.
So let's get you a do-over, huh? Help Johnny if you need it. Recharging my shields.
Oh, a gun! Holy shit!
Hold up, almost done grabbed it. Throwing thermite. 45 seconds. Rings close.
Fence placed. Fence them in. Fence them out.
Am I tripping? I swear I saw someone right there.
Firing. Reloading.
Not far from the ring. Half a minute. Taking fire. Cracked shields on
Come
that
here.
bandit. Recharging shields.
I want to stick somebody. I'm feeling sticky. I'm trying to stick on somebody. Where are we going?
Listen up, I'm getting shot at.
Bitch. Around the corner though. She's here with a little grenade right here.
Firing. Champion's out. Charging up the shield. Really doesn't work.
Can I buy this fucking skin or what?
Okay. Which means I have to take off my socks.
Oh, the Loba. Nah, they don't be doing Loba right.
And then
That ain't nothing.
grab stuff and then
Oh, that's kind of hard.
wash this
That's like
toy.
aviator type shit. Hawaii, can I buy it, please? No, don't start the match. No.
Closing my backside of my skirt. Okay, and then what do we need?
Oh, it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
different abilities of
A
action.
towel. Fuck this dog.
See, bro, I'm getting too old for that shit. I'm getting old. That seemed like a lot to keep up with.
Even gunpowder needs a spark.
Big days are coming for us.
Oh, you can get Jaeger shit. Let's It's in that
Safety's up.
game.
Weapons free.
Why is my OBS trying to close? Is my stream that bad? My OBS trying to kill itself?
I know right now.
X define gameplay.
Hey, what's going on?
It look like a mobile game. Oh, they got the Division in there. So they dropped everything in there. These are two spit. I'll check it out. Once I get some money, I'll be checking out every fucking game that ever existed. Oh, it's free, nice. Okay.
I'm fainting. The circle is complete. Planting fainted.
You ain't got no door. Get them. They burning.
First blood. Good thing it's not us.
Are they healing right here? Oh no? My squad going? Okay, we're going this way. You gonna push? Broken? Oh my god. Where's my automatic prowler?
Down to nothing.
See you, bitch. Oh, he burned the fuck out of me.
New kill leader.
That do 99 damage?
Enemy spotted.
And I gotcha. I've been down.
Mira, it's not about how hard you tried. About who wins.
I wanna buy this fucking skin.
Enemies right here.
Bro, you played I ain't played no Far Cry's. It look cool. God damn.
Hello, chat.
Let me buy this fucking skin. How much do I need? 18? I need 1,000. Yeah, I'm leaking my shit. I don't give a fuck. I don't even think I have enough on that fucking credit card.
Oh, you're so cute.
My credit cards are really... Oh yeah, I got into online gambling a lot.
Oh, you're a good boy.
That shit fucked me up.
Okay. I will miss this dry boy. So you're going to be a wet boy.
Small sacrifice, yes, bro. I told you. I said no skins. That's the only... Actually, it's gonna be there. I'll buy it after I get a win. That'll be my reward. I thought she was taking a piss for a second. The fuck?
It's like hand to mouth, but nose.
Yeah, it's like everything. So you'll see me play with my.
Whoa.
What if I just ate sweet potato every day?
That would be interesting.
I don't want to have to cook it.
S-Fan just chatting. Oh, I think he's playing
here and there.
college football.
Well, okay.
Oh, coming tomorrow.
That's not where I was going with that. Yeah.
All these streamers like the old streamers like searching for shit to do.
I don't know what you're saying.
I know. One win. I know everyone loves watching Apex. Apex is a thriving.
Nicely, I'll get merch after this game.
Max Payne. I think I saw it. I have to play Max Payne. My brother keeps telling me to play it. I know it's gonna be a banger when I play it. That's gonna be tough for the first two. I know those are good games. I have to play the old fucking Grand Theft. I never finished the campaigns on any of the old Grand Theft Autos. Like I have so much shit to do. Like it's good because I've just been filming basketball for the past fucking 7 years. There's so much shit I can catch up on.
It'd be a good idea to land here, Diba. Heard that.
Hey, I've been streaming for 16 hours. I need to get a win, so can
Never
we
mind. Let's land there.
lock
Unless
in
anyone
here?
has thoughts on our first play. Let the games begin! Oh, I can't wait! Watch me!
It's the same place we just died at. Yeah, Max Payne with the slow-mo diving, like, I gotta play this shit.
An opponent landed near
Oh,
me. Nemesis here. Rampart's last collab with Big Sister.
already got one.
Firing! Taking shots here. Broke their shields. Healing. Downed an enemy.
First blood.
One down, okay.
Pass me that sugar. Throwing up stop.
Am I gonna kill? Bro, I just outlined him in bullets. I just fucking outlined him. Holy shit.
Quick down and I gotcha. Pass me that sugar.
I think I have 2 healing drones up right now. That's kind of dope. I earned all that stuff. That was all me.
Attention.
Recharging my shield. Don't worry about me.
I just died at the same fucking spot.
New kill leader.
Okay.
Eyes out for him. Phoenix kit here.
Flatline, Sentinel.
Light ammo here.
Yeah, hello. Okay.
Playing Bloodhound. Bloodhound was the first one I did. But then I started like Lifeline when she had the shield when you res used to be so cheese. And I just kind of stuck with her. It was like Bloodhound, Bangalore, and what's her
Say
name?
one. We're all inside this ring.
Lifeline. And I was Mirage too, but then Mirage got kind of complicated.
What you been doing? What'd you do yesterday?
Like I used to love like the first season Mirage was out.
What'd you do on stream?
But once you can like control your guy, like I get overwhelmed.
You have fun?
Yeah, it was fun.
It's good.
All father, give me sight.
Oh, that's a good. Okay, I see that.
Let's go this way. He's on high.
Met a lot of your hometown friends.
Cell here.
I thought he was a brother at
Extra
first.
supplies here. I'll share.
I did. It was more than 10. I think, cause like,
Between us is
I think we had new friends. Some of your old friends.
Oh, that's Sa.
But I like your friends. Your friends.
This girl has like 3 million on TikTok. Like to me, Apex is still the best shooter. Like
Yeah,
to
I
me, the
mean,
games are
with your
typically
friends.
fun.
But your friends don't seem to.
You get.
Your friends.
I thought I heard footsteps. Like you get in and out of games pretty
So much
fast.
of mine.
It's just the skins and like the
They act very normal. Like mine.
the shit that makes people pay for it. Like it just doesn't do good enough. I feel like.
I like your friends though. The party though was a different story than
Also, he could,
your
yeah,
friends in
he's
general.
he's like religious. He's religious about this shit.
What'd you miss? I wish you were there. It would have been fun. Cause it was a little awkward for me because I don't.
I feel like they should make an Apex campaign already.
I'm pretty sure you knew most
Like the
people.
lore is already crazy. They should make Titanfall Apex or some shit like this.
Oh, well, it's the group of 10, and then like everyone has their own sections. So but then it amounts to 7 people in total.
I downed a hostile.
Where's his homies at?
Recharging my shields.
Reloading.
And that had like disco lights, or I have some of
Here's your birthday present. Come on, Mitch. Say hello.
It was so hot. Yeah, Toby was helping me out for a while, like near the end of the party. Everyone was pretty.
I already have
chill
that and I'm
too.
already full.
It was just like a
shots
little
here. Backpack here. Level 3.
I guess everyone's first time meeting me, so maybe they
Trust in the old father.
pictures, you know? But it was cool. It was just like.
Come on. Say hello.
Come here, boy. Which one's which?
Just giving my shields a recharge.
Just a nice little flicky flicky. That's what they should make. If they could just have straight up team deathmatch. Get some dope maps. It's from the people who made Modern Warfare 2. They know what they're doing.
I was talking to everyone. Toby helped me out, but
Like some domination, but not like the goofy way they did
I
it.
put my ass on everything on Instagram.
Wait, can I see the flyer? No,
Not the flyer, but like the video. Did you see the video?
I feel like they're not doing this game like they should.
Costco video.
And that's why it's kind of dead.
He did.
Used your ass as promo.
He did. You know, people came and they were telling like third party people were asking to come, and they were like, "Oh, like I'm just going to take a picture with Sad and win," and then they did.
That's kind of fucked up though. That's his birthday party.
Yeah, I'm like,
Don't worry. I mean, she was good.
I get they can't split the user base up with like a bunch of modes, but there's so many people who play this game. There's enough people to have a bunch of modes. Like they could still have arenas.
Toby, there's this one picture that we took a lot of pictures. There's like but this one picture.
But there must be some money move. It's just not worth it.
And he like it's W aura, like it's very like aromatic.
Aromatic.
Aromatic. It's very aromatic.
Countdown.
What are you eating?
Next ring's far.
Okay, we're nowhere where to action.
No worries. I can be fast.
You're fat. I'm kidding.
Replicator being delivered.
Replicator on high.
Today's the 13th. You're not. So you're flying out the 14th? It got delayed to the 14th? So confused. Tell me what happened.
Ah!
Firing.
Well, this guy got TTV2 Santi. Is he live?
You totally could have.
Does he know he's playing with a legend?
Back home. Today?
I don't, bro. EA used to be the shit. It's just like everything recently, just like too much money. Too much money in the game.
Enemy down.
There's more, but wait, there's more.
Took out a hostile. The ring is far.
I swear.
Toby.
Uncharged. Come here, boy. Prayer.
Like, cause you know how that like, it was his party, but he's not gonna be that.
I hate having a full backpack. Check this shit. Hey. I just got a clip on my shit too. That was
I
tough.
actually didn't talk to Cindy that much. And Toby didn't really do anything at the party.
Can you send me?
We're collabing right now.
I have this picture of
Who has more followers? Am I clapping with him or is he clapping with me?
his dumbass left his
I'm gonna guess he has like
shirt
500.
his shirt in the house, but we already checked out. And he drove all the way back to the Airbnb to pick up just to look to the trash for a shirt.
Enemy shield broken.
Squad fight. Are we stuck? No, we're not stuck.
What a play.
We were gonna go cliff jumping yesterday, but
Run, bitch, run!
we were gonna go with that, Toby, Dylan, and then Kevin.
Climb, motherfucker, climb!
Like 10 hours ago. Yeah, but I've been doing stuff all day just because I have to. Because when I'm gone for like a weekend, like of work.
Healing my wounds.
I don't know how it looks.
One here.
But,
Switch it
yeah.
about Pasha. Hey, my man. We're getting out the mud together.
That's just a picture of me in the trash.
It would be funny though if someone came out like, I don't care about anything. I just want to like leech my way. Like the most successful leech. That should be like a Mr. Beast challenge. Whoever gets the most viewers off of leeching and like collabing your way up.
I didn't take any videos. I just have pictures.
Maybe make an alt account and just be shameless. Be in their chat all the time. Hey guys, I'm gonna be live. I'm about to die. Ooh.
Apple juice, cranberry juice, and orange juice.
I need help.
Ah!
Opening heat shield.
Oh, now you gonna do that shit. I'm not gonna make it there. Oh my god. Nice. They both had heat shields. Okay, we upping them. We got two. We got two. GG lurking, as always, classic.
Yes, you are. Why?
Can I make it over the mountain? And why are we so deep in the zone? Yeah, what the fuck? I was 1 second away from dying.
Just put on it just so that he could use it as bait.
Did she say she's gonna spit on it? What?
And you just need the fire? You saw the fire, right?
Oof.
1 minute. Rings nearby.
Okay, 12 people left. 3v3, v3v3.
Deploying
I
drone.
forgot a lot of things.
Lock in.
I told them you couldn't get it for me. I forgot a lot of things.
45 seconds. Rings close.
So I said that that's me. I thought that. Oh, you don't think coming home. Are you coming home anytime soon? I forgot a few things.
I'm probably gonna go.
Ring close in 30. Nearly there,
I'll
though.
come home this month, but I think I'll come home for like a day or two.
For a day?
Yeah, I gotta come home, see.
Oh, I don't got bounce like that.
Like a day or
One
two.
day?
Come on. Oh, come on.
I thought you were going to come home for a week.
Nah, come
You know?
home. Nah, come home for like a couple days.
Someone traveled through here. Almost there. We are close. Someone traveled
Yeah,
through
that's
here
the thing with
recently.
me. I was only there for a day and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I was back so quickly. I literally left like I came in, got ready for the party. No, I came in.
One on the roof.
We did the 1v whatever.
My leg's going numb. Oh my
It
god.
was so fun. We went to the park.
You hear that?
My
There's a
left
care
butt cheek
package
is going
coming
numb.
down.
Yeah, the park. Remember?
They're just like swirling. What the fuck? Oh, there we go.
This entire. Or you kind of know, but you don't.
Somebody gonna put this dick. Get this dick.
2 other squads remain.
So sit there like a fucking idiot? Thank you.
You would have had fun.
One down on the team right there.
You did miss out.
Enemy shield broken. Reloading. Downed an enemy. Someone's not
He
in
might
the
win
ring.
this
Please
motherfucker.
don't get fried.
Scanning the area.
Well, let me. Oh, she's a healer too. I don't know if she's good for revives though.
Got a replicator coming down.
They were on the right. Never mind.
Enemy shield broken.
Throwing hostile.
I thought that was my. I thought that was my sentinel. I
Recharging my shield. 1 second.
was gonna try and snipe him.
I'm healing up.
I'll come back though.
Hair drawn if you
but
need
everyone
it.
was asking me,
Marking our
you
surroundings.
like Dallas Fort?
Okay.
You like LA? And I'm like,
45 seconds.
Oh no, there we go. That's what I like.
the city life is a little nicer,
Let's get a dub.
and why does it take so long to get anywhere? It takes so long to get everywhere.
Come on.
Texas is like a swoop.
Ring close in 30. Nearly there, though.
I can't see. Alright, I'm closing the stream.
No, like it just like.
Oh, it's
you have to
1v1.
drive-
Oh, he's trying to snipe too. Where? No! You bad. They're all right over here.
Thermite grenade out. Unspotted. Taking 5.
I get sniped too, motherfucker. Oh, he's a better sniper.
Recharging my shield.
Oh no!
Health drone.
It's on me. It's on me if we lose. That's game. I did nothing. I got carried so hard. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. Thanks for the carry.
You are the Apex champions.
4 kills. My aim though at the end. Like what the? That one flick I did earlier was nice though. I got 6. Look at the carry. Ew. Holy. Of course I got 666 too. That is. I was probably talking so loud. I had those headphones in. I really got the devil's number to end it. Yeah, I played bad, but we fucking won. Okay. I kind of want to finish. Not today. I'm done today. But the plan is I need to finish 2 games, right? I need to finish Kina. I'm on like the final bosses here. And I need to finish Last of Us Part 1 on Grounded, no permadeath. And then I'm going to do a permadeath run on that. Dying Light. This game is fucking spooky. This game creeps me the fuck out, gives me nightmares. But I like playing this game. I got to beat Hollow Knight. I want to learn to fly. Yeah, there's a lot of shit I want to do. I gotta beat all the Fallouts. My brother bought me this game. It's like an escape room game. I want to play this. I want to do all the COD campaigns. Keena's a good ass game, dude. I'm trying to do it on the hardest difficulty. This motherfucker who can fly at the end. I'm not the last like soul guy. He's kicking my ass. Matter of fact, hey, I got some mods on my shit too. Goodness me, yeah, we got a whole motherfucking, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm just chilling. I ain't trying to, you know, I ain't trying to, but I'm trying to. I want to beat Firewatch again. I keep forgetting where I'm at and like starting this game over. This game is confusing as fuck. It's a puzzle game. I should go back. Kina slaps. It's so like, it's literally pretty as fuck. It's like cute as fuck. But it's like actually kind of hard if you play on the hardest difficulty. Took me a week because the last trophy required. See, I like to just the hardest the first time. Let me get every trophy. And I heard Sony's bringing PlayStation trophies to PC too, which is nice. Oh, the finals. This game was dope, but I feel like it probably fell off. I need to play that more to support that game. This was a cute ass game too. You guys play this game? This game is cute as fuck. I wanted to buy. I think this thing's sold out though. This game is cozy. You can beat it in a day. Cold War, slept on COD. I need this game. I need to beat Prey. My brother keeps telling me about Prey. It's bullshit how they decided to add one more move into the boss's move set. The one, yeah, there's one. I almost want to show it, but I'll do that next stream. It's like, dude, I can't even keep the camera on the motherfucker. Like, I gotta keep. I'm used to playing God of War 2, which is like you can move around that game really good. But the camera, I can't even see where this motherfucker's zooming in at. I gotta beat Fallout New Vegas. The Monkey. I love Monkey Island too. This brings me back to my childhood. I gotta beat these. I beat Jedi Survivor. I gotta beat the Frog. I'm trying to 100% this goofy ass game. Got 100% Hat in Time. There's so many. I love looking at my games, even though I've never touched most of my backlog. This game has spiders in it. I don't like it. They added Cold War. So yeah, all the Call of Duty's on Steam now. I missed the sale. I missed so many good sales. I need to wait for all of them to go on sale and buy them on here. Hat in Time is good. Yeah, my brother's like, bro, it's like the best. If you want 100% a game, you gotta play the game. So I gotta beat that game. That's a perfect, just like go through it slow, take your time, do all the levels game. I have a lot of the Far Cry games. I played 3. 3 was fun. But then I was just forcing myself to try and play I gotta play Cyberpunk. I really want to play Cyberpunk. But that's like, I feel like 2 weeks. Stray was a cute ass game. That would have been a good stream game. Not really though, actually. I don't think so. I don't think it'd be a good stream game. But that's just a cozy game. Far Cry 5. Is that the one with fucking Gus? Not Gus. Yeah, Gus, right? That's the one I want to play. I want to play. Okay, y'all. I don't know if y'all know, Metal Gear Solid's my favorite game series all time, and they brought it to PC. I need to play through all of them again. That's gonna be my next like super video too. Is talk about Metal Gear Solid. I think would have been like Stray. I felt like I don't know. Like if you were like a girl gamer, I feel like I don't know. It wouldn't. But like this is what I'm talking about. I think too much. Like it would have been cozy. There's like a trophy for that game to like 100% it like fast. I think too. That I would never yet. Gus's Far Cry 6. Yeah, this would have been cozy. And I became a cat person the past 2 years too. Yeah, complete the game in 2 hours. Oh my god. I didn't know you could dunk the basketball. That pissed me off. I didn't know that the first time. Far Cry 5 was the Extreme Christians. Yeah, the only one I've played is 3 with also the dude from Better Call Saul. I forget his name too though. GTA V. I wouldn't mind a GTA V playthrough again before GTA 6. This game is sick as fuck. This game's a mindfuck. Yeah, Nacho. Yeah, bro. You know this shit. You are like a walking encyclopedia. I swear to God. I don't know. I need to swap brains with you, bro. You are tapped the fuck in. Like usually Twitch chats have like 100 people and like they know, like someone in there knows everything, but like you like the Oracle in this motherfucker. I got all the Need for Speeds. I kind of miss car games. Thief. I want to play that game. Elder Scrolls. I never played Elder Scrolls because it has fucking spiders in it. Resident Evil. Oh, the BioShock series. I got to play that on my PC. Oh hell, bot, bro. This motherfucker is a bot. That's a good name for you. I want to get Killing Floor 3. Hey, okay, hold on. Honey Pop. Hold on. When I click this, I unadded Sean though. Maybe I shouldn't click this on stream. I'm not even capping. Honey Pop is a good fucking game. Okay, I'm not even embarrassed to show. This is a good fucking game. Right? Like if you're of age, you should play this game. I'm shameless. And when I had Sean has this game too. I know he does. That's why I bought it too. I'm like, fuck it. I heard it was a good game. The angel chick, the chick who was like your like guardian, like the one who was like, you need to do this. That was the one. Death Stranding. I love that game. I need to play it on PC. I need to beat God of War on PC. Bro said Honey Pop. Why is it a good game? It's like what's that game? Bejeweled. And I never played Bejeweled, so this was like my Bejeweled, and Bejeweled was like everyone loved fucking Bejeweled. This is a good game too. This and Alan Wake I need to play on stream. Honey Pop. It was just like satisfying to like unlock the next chick. You know what I'm saying? It was like a Facebook like MySpace era game, but then it was like, you know, you're trying to get like the next chick, and like the chick had like good characters. It was good game. It had good like writing. Delete the bot. Oh shit, Control. No, don't tell me to make another Control. This game, like the atmosphere is S tier. I think they could have done something, but the atmosphere of this fucking game, it was amazing. Don't tell me Remedy's coming out with a sequel. I gotta play Alan. But like it's scary. I don't like scary games. I don't like jump scares. That entire game. Okay, I didn't know y'all play. Okay, I thought it was like slept on. But like this game was like, I need to play it again with a notebook to like keep up with everything. I believe the FBC was in Alan Wake 2. The FBC, is that the maze thing? I haven't played Alan Wake, so I don't know. So I already have Max Payne like locked and loaded. Like I have to play these. See, GG. That is why. That was the first reason I stopped streaming, because I was like, I cannot. The next stream has to be Five Nights at Freddy. That is scammed. That is 100% scammed. I can't. That was the initial. I was like, okay. I was like trying to build myself up for it. I can't. Like you tell me I can't do jump screens on a flat screen. I'm not doing it in VR. Get the fuck out of here. Like even though it's a kiddie ass game, like I know little kids play that shit. I own Metal Gear Survive. That is shameful. I know little kids play that shit. And didn't they just come up with a movie too? Like, I know it's huge. But I can't. I'm a grown ass man. If I go on the Matterhorn at Disneyland, I still cover my ears when the fucking Yeti thing goes and it's in the dark. I'm weak. What can I say? Like, I'm not playing this. Is there achievements on it? There's no achievements. Why would I play it? There's no reason. There's no reason. It's like the Federation control thing. Oh, they're in. That's because you do the flashback in Control where you go to like Alan Wake's hotel or like whatever the fuck. So I know those two games are like not even just like Easter egg connected, like literally connected, I'm pretty sure. So I have to, and then Kojima was gonna make Silent Hill. I was like, oh, Ori. We don't gotta talk about Ori. I thought that was so funny. That was I was trying to be a streamer back then. That was the shittiest stream of all streams ever. I remember being miserable. I started getting mad too. I was like, shut up. Like y'all can leave, y'all. No, Splitgate. This game fell the fuck off. There's Alan Wake DLC. I think that's the hotel thing I was on. I think I beat this. I did finally beat Grand Theft Auto 4, but I gotta do the DLC for that too. I want to beat Life is Strange again too. I need to play all of them. I know the new one's coming out. Wolfenstein's a fun game. Never played that on PC. Borderlands, never played that. Mafia, never played that. I think we were doing Little Nightmares, weren't we? I was playing Little Nightmares somewhere. Yeah, that's true. I remember Gil talking shit. That was so funny. Yeah, we had our Creed era. I need to play Witcher. I need to play the new Horizon too. This is generally one of my favorite things to do, is just look at games and be like, I should play this game, but never fucking play it. I don't even know I had Odyssey. I almost want to load up Half-Life Alyx, my Control save, and see what... Because I know I still have stuff to do in that game. This is the original. Last played February 2020. That's probably when I streamed it. Stanley Parable. Star Wars. I still got to play all the Halo games too. Remedy Entertainment. They made that. Remedy got some bangers. Remedy, like I don't know if they're slept on. I wouldn't say they're slept on. I think people know about them. But they're kind of like A24, I feel like. Like they're just kind of different. Okay, I'm in developer tools and shit. Let's see my wish list. Stanley Parable. I think I did play that on stream. And they just came out with like that Ultra DLC. I'm excited for games again. Like I took a long break from playing stuff. I want to play Ghost Runner 2 too. It was just on sale, but look at this, 62 for Need for Speed. Ain't nobody paying that game. Dead Space would be a good one too. Sound Pair, I didn't. I guess you would know. There was a game like that I played though. I thought I played like, there's like 2 games that are like in the same category. Yeah, I missed the last sale so bad. I played one of them goofy like meta games. System Shock, my brother says System Shock is good. Atomic Heart with the fucking robot titties, yes. Dead Island, Resident Evil. I can't wait to play the Resident Evil. Wait, what is that? 2. Time to wait for the Black Friday sale. No, dude, once I sell this fucking house, bro, interest rates at 5% right now. If y'all got any money, you gotta have it in a high yield savings account. I'm about to have enough money to buy all these games each month just off of interest. To ID, I thought you were saying to the robot titties. See, like I have Stanley Parable. My mouth is, I don't know how streamers just talk. My mouth is fucking dry. Stanley Parable. Last played December 20. Okay, yeah, so you're right. I played it, but there's another one like it. Stick? What is Stick? Oh, STCC. Yeah, I don't know. How much is Horizon right now? It's full price again. God damn it. Yeah, to a double I played Dead Island 2 and the DLC I personally enjoyed. Yeah, Dead Island, the trailer's overhyped, the first one, but if you take like just the game is separate, like it's a good little just a crazy amount of weapons game. But Dying Light kinda I feel like clears it. Let me just boot up this game is fucking spooky. When the fucking night crawlers come after you. Like this is a good ass game, but like it is genuinely creepy. They have like jump scares in the cutscenes. You're all zoomed into like the keyhole. Like I can't handle. I don't know what it is. It's not. Yeah, it's like Dead Dead Island was like they advertised it like it's fucking Last of Us. Like they did it the slow mo reverse trailer, but the game was just like like Dead Rising kinda. I can't handle like okay in my life it's like roller coaster drops when it's just straight down like
the eyes of the world have been glued to the city of Haran for the past 2 months following the outbreak of a previously unknown pathogen.
It is not yet clear what has caused this gruesome affliction. The local government's Ministry of Defense erected a quarantine wall shortly after the outbreak.
The global relief effort's steady stream of supply drops has sustained what few survivors remain in the city. The Ministry of Defense believes more.
I'm not doing it. What did I just boot into? Did I boot into the game or Dying Light 2 somehow? Also, the game is way loud. Okay, how do I fix that? Yeah. I'm like whispering too because my mouth is fucking dry. Desktop audio, bang, drop that shit down. I just want to see where I'm at. I played Dead Space when I was 10.
Before I can explain to Jade what happened to Raheem, Rice's men attacked Zara's truck. God, I hope it's not retaliation for the school.
That's what when I was 10, I was just basketball. Like basketball was my whole life. And like in the Avatar, like Aang. Like Aang was my shit, but I didn't. Man, I wish I watched more anime growing up. I wish I would have gotten into like fucking Pokemon and shit. Like like Harry Potter. I miss a bunch of nerd shit because I was trying to be a basketball player. Like if you play this game at fucking like you gotta get somewhere. I have no audio, so I can't hear them. But like they're like screaming. Like this game is literally horrifying. Look how fucking dark it is. Let me just get to the safe house. I don't remember how you put the weapon away. Oh, it's literally right here. Why am I showing this game like, oh, you guys haven't seen it and like know what I'm talking about? Like, where's one of these prowlers or whatever? World at War. Oh, don't, bro. Y'all gonna have me on here just reminiscing. Like World at War. Like, why did they ditch that style? Like, it was so like the menu music. The menu, like it's like iconic, and it was so gruesome and real. Where's one of these prowlers? Here he is. Like this motherfucker. Like look how this motherfucker jump on you, hey bitch. Big boy. Over here, big boy. Must like kill his ass, bitch ass nigga. Bitch ass nigga. Where we at? Win Apex? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Hi, Sean. I'm gonna play Apex. Hey, I gotta add you again. I gotta add you again so I can show that you own Honey Pop. Sean, can we talk about Honey Pop? Can you say something good about Honey Pop? I love Dead Island 2, but I hate Deep Silver because they took it from Techland. Hey, Sean, you made it okay. Yeah, Dead Island, I do want to play that game again. 1 and 2. But yeah, that game took forever to come out, I think, because of that, right? Hey, Sean, like, Like, did you unlock? Like, I think I 100%. I almost want to boot it up. It's a fucking game. Let's boot it up. It's booted. Who says boot it up? I'm fucking old. I'm about to be 30 in 2 years, bro. Jaden bought it for me, I swear to God. But do you got any trophies in it, though? You got any achievements in it? I'm gonna just boot it up. I'm not big enough to get banned anyway. Where's my H's at? Do I still have Doki? This made me think of Doki Doki. Was that on? Yeah, this game. This game took over the internet for like a solid, probably 2-3 months. I'm telling you, I 100%ed this game. This is while I was at ESPN, I think, too. When did I play? Okay, no, that's wrong. I did not own this game 6 years ago. Was that 6 years ago? There's no way that was 6 years ago. 20 hours. Oh, I didn't get all the achievements. Honey Pop stream before GTA 6. Hey, Trump got shot at before GTA 6. Biden lost his mind before GTA. I'm clicking it. I'm about to click play. You're still partners. Hey, I'm telling you, I'm under the radar. Dan Clancy's too busy looking at fucking e-girls. Ain't no way. It's a game. If you can show titties in GTA. And who's in here? Sean, formerly Superman Bot, and Gigi. I know who fucking snitched on me. Unless they got like the YouTube. No data. Oh, it's on another PC. That's why. That's why. It's on my other. But this is my same PC. And you could be. Oh, is this? This is the original Honey Pop, yeah. I don't have autosave. Hey, I tried. Dan Clancy. Oh God. Hey, it's a good thing. Like the CEO's in on this shit. Like, okay, like he's chill like that. Okay, he's a freak ass nigga like that. Okay. You know, that's crazy. Dan Clancy editing for Pokebay. That would be the ultimate league. I think you said the Queen dropped before. Said the Queen. Ooh, Beyonce with the country album. I must have edited it, bro. Where I wanna show my progress. What's this? Oh, I privated. I got scared. Your game activity in this game is not visible to others. Yeah, Steam let you do that. I did that. I forgot I did that. Oh, dropped. Like literally dropped. Hey, that was a long ass time ago. I remember Hassan said some shit about that and got in trouble. He was like memeing about it. People got mad. Damn, that's like so. When did the Queen die? That's so 2022. When did the Queen die? Queen Elizabeth. I'm so thirsty right now. She was 2022, September 8th. Damn, that's so 2022. Make me mod again. It literally says mod. Keep talking. Oh, freak ass nigga. Freak ass nigga. Keep talking till I'm almost there, Pog Champ. Or no, Komodo hype. What the fuck? You are a mod. Oh, and they did. No, because you put. Oh my God. You had. There was so many random fucking things in that Discord. Like ping Celly, ping not Celly. What the fuck is that? What is going on? I don't know where it is. There was so much. I was in middle school. You still in middle school. That's the crazy thing. Like, everyone's gonna be old as fuck. Like, y'all gonna have jobs and shit. Y'all not gonna be watching streams no more. My mouth is so dry. Okay. I have like I want to like I just want to show games that I like. I want to just show this game and then quit it real quick. I heard this game was good, but I was too stupid to learn a tutorial. I'm a senior now. Damn, okay, a senior is crazy. Are you going to college? Who's going to college? Sean, are you in college? Or are we working? Are we getting to the bag? Bro, senior year, you're gonna be like, I can't wait to be done. Then you're gonna be like, fuck, I miss high school. It was so simple. My problems were so little compared to fucking paying bills. No, the final slaps. The finals fucking slaps. I'm getting that bag, yes sir. Hey, I'm telling y'all, I rushed out. I had a little bit of money. I bought a BMW. Like a stupid black man, I bought a fucking BMW. Well, as soon as I got money, I bought a house, and then I sold my house. I bought another house. Stay your ass. If your parents let you stay at home and they not tripping, stay your ass at home. Stack your money up to the ceiling till you can pay cash for anything. Just stack. Don't worry about, oh, I need to get my own place. Like, if you want to get your own place and get your freak on, go get you a hotel. Save up your money. You can go to the local fucking whatever place, local casino, whatever. You don't need to get a house. You don't need to get an apartment. Just stack up. Ain't no rush. I'm 19. It's probably 15. Damn, y'all, all these young ass. And then I was streaming on Baller Visions, and there's another young ass girl from fucking Brazil. Like, wow, what's almost some fucking. I need some adults in this bitch. I'm saying a 200 week paying bill. Yes, sir. Like, don't even like. Life is like, you get caught up and then time flies because you were so busy trying to be what you thought you had to be. See, I'm getting too deep. I ain't even drunk. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even drunk. This is how I feel. Like, you just get caught up thinking, I need to do this. I need to get here in my career. Just chill, man. Enjoy where you at. You ain't got to be in a rush to go fucking. And like, having a house ain't even that big a deal. It's just a place. Like, I'd rather have like hundreds of thousands in the bank. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather have 50,000, 40,000 than to be like, and chilling at home around my family than like sweating to pay like a mortgage or just barely get by. Like, just chill. In Japan, they do this shit anyway. They stay with their parents forever. Yes, bro, that's good. That's good to hear. See, I think the next generation understands shit is like different. Like, I'm like in between of like, you need to grind, but like, I think y'all understand, like, you can be whoever the fuck you want to be. You can do whatever. You can flip shit on fucking Facebook Marketplace. People do that for a living. Don't work, go out and beg on the street because that's passive, so you don't have to pay taxes. Hey, that's the Facebook Marketplace. Give me that cat. Or Zelle. Zelle is nice too. It's basically like digital cash. Keep that shit under the table. You be straight. But I need, what time is it? It's 11 o'clock. It's 11 o'clock. It is 11 fucking o'clock. What time did I start streaming? It says 2.5 hours. I feel like I've been like 30 minutes. I'm supposed to be sleeping. If you're on the East Coast, you're really supposed to be sleeping. Apex is still open. My poor PC, which has stuff covering the fans. It's 12 for me, so it's 11. So you an hour ahead. So you low-key close to me, gang. You mountain time. Your ass in Colorado. I'm coming to see yo. I'm trying to see the Rockies soon. You Colorado. 2 a.m. East Coast. She got to shovel snow in the winter. She on the East Coast. If you don't got to pay rent, you can afford a car and small bills working like 50. Yeah, it's the house, it's the mortgage or the rent. That just, because I know it's spoiled to be like, oh, just stay with your parents. Some people don't have that. But if you do, take advantage of that shit. Oh, gee, you in Florida? Oh, you already told me you in New Mexico. Bro, you with the GTA Sixers. You with the crazy motherfuckers. Wasn't it just like the fucking tornado? No, that was there's a hurricane in Texas, yeah. Florida's basically California, but just very humid. Very humid. And for some reason, people are at Walmart at like 2 in the morning, like it's not 2 in the morning. Yeah, but said Colorado. I told you my mind does not work. It's a benefit for like movies and shit because I can watch it over again. But bro, my memory is fucked. I'm Canada. You in the snow too. West Coast, I got horrible cost of living out here, bruh. It sucks here. Oh, everyone getting depressed. It sucks where I live. It's expensive. Everything's expensive. McDonald's is $18. Look up Vancouver. All right, let's Zillow the shit. Zillow the shit. Move the bricks. I feel bad. I can't even listen to Drake like that no more. Like, I genuinely like Drake's music, but I feel like I have to put like a pause on it right now. Like, if I'm driving around, I feel like people give me like the R. Kelly look. Let's see. Zillow. Put it on your pillow. Can I just put in Vancouver? 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 Wait, isn't it BC? Is BC Canada? What the fuck's the B for? Bitches. Oh, Vancouver's right there. Hey, I'm gonna come see you, Sean. Look, I'm gonna do the Pacific Coast trip. I got a Miata too. I don't know if y'all know that. I got a nice little, tiny little Miata. I'm gonna take the Miata up the coast. Let's see, where am I at? I did not know. I thought Vancouver was like way to the right. So no wonder it's expensive. You just in Canadian California, bitch. Fresno, no, that's nasty. So see, I come from right here, right? I'll be right here at Temecula. Take the 15. Come here, take the 91. Come all the way here. Where's it at? And you take the 1. Look at this. Come all the way. That would be a low-key good stream too. Like a good like travel journey. Like covering that shit. I'll come right up to see you, big boy. Come up the coast. Bang. I live on that island. That's fine, Sean. See, look, they even got your shit white. Cold ass. Middle of the summer, they got your shit white. Over here in Russia. I live I'm going down to Seattle. Oh, my parents been trying to get me to go to Seattle. I legit want to though. Like it's fucking Last of Us 2. Like I have to go. You're on the Days Gone. Another banger game. That game, I have a lot to say about that game. Like the story is kind of like whatever, but like that is like what modern Call of Duty Zombies, like the evolution of that. Like I almost want to do a video on that. How that game, if you haven't played that, anyone who grew up playing zombies would like that game. The mobs were so fun. But okay. Anyways, where were we? Look at that 400K. Let's just say you got 400K. Where are you living? Oh, damn. This is the only spot. It must be the hood. Infamous Second Son. Bro, you know all, bro. Infamous Second Son. That game is beautiful. That game, the colors and the neon in that game is so nice. Look at this. You straight, bro. 250. You get 400 square feet. That's Canadian dollars though, ain't that like? That's probably like 80,000 right there. Decent little view. You get a little river right there. Probably got HOA. Oh, look at that carpet. What the fuck is that carpet, bro? Is that even It look like what you put under the carpet. That look like insulation, bitch. Yeah, 400K will get you anything. See, this dude, you know all the good shit. Dustin, he's a American. I forgot that he was. Wasn't his mom? Did his mom get capped in that game or something? Someone died early on. Look at this house. Look at this. This is a trap house. They couldn't have like waited and painted it. Is this the island you talking about? Sean, where your hood at? Bowen Island. Look at like, okay, yeah. I don't even want to do anything in life anymore. Like I've done fucking everything. Like I've done everything there is to do. I just want to see everything. I just want to take my money, save it up a little bit every couple months, and then just see everything. I'm gonna be like fucking Ginny. No, she didn't die. Someone in the beginning was in like a warehouse and they got. Or maybe almost got. The big ass island. Let's see. So here's Washington. Let's take the prices off. Oh shit. I'm doing like a geo finder right now. 16 milli. I would assume this right here. This is like Japan but reversed. Yeah, she almost died. See, I got a little bit of memory. Vancouver Island. Ain't no homes on this mug. I put 16 mil. Oh, I gotta remove the boundary. Oh, you gotta live over here. I do kind of want a mountain house too eventually. That would be nice. That's my hood. That's your city. That's your whole shit. Let's see. Then you got the choppy over here. Okay, you got one freeway? Damn. 1.2 mil. Yeah, bro. It's a nice house right here. But like that's $1.2 million. You know what you can do with $1.2 million? You could fund 1/16 of a fucking video game. This is the only road. So how do you get into that? So you gotta come from here? I can't drive there. You gotta take a boat, bro. The island. Hey, shut up. Leave my forehead alone. I got a hat on. Actually, I shaved my shit, so like my shit looking extra big. Like, how do you get there, gang? You actually have to take a boat. You gotta launch yourself. They got a fucking Tom Cruise jump right here. Wait, what is this, a water freeway? I'm on Zillow. Let me go to maps. I'm gonna dox myself since it's only the homies right now. Where am I at? I want to show my middle school. Why can I not tell? 79 here. Oh, right here. It's the school I used to run, right? Oh, it's a modern picture too. You gotta take a boat. Damn, bro. That's it's like to get stuff to your island. That's just extra tax. Oh, there was a really bad accident here. I wonder if they got the flowers. Oh shit, I'm in the Matrix. Nah, they got flowers out here now. This my hood, gang. You feel me? Had my first kiss. I'll show you. Actually, I shouldn't show that because that's by my house. But we could just say my first kiss was like right here on this corner right here. Just walking home. I was a 6th grader. She was, I think, 7th going to 8th grade. She just laid one on me. I wasn't ready. Could have filed charges, but, you know, I kind of liked it, so. Shout out to Tatiana. She ended up being Miss Temecula and having a baby. Well, yeah, it's crazy. I have a lot of crazy, you know, crazy stories from this era. We went undefeated 3 years. Basketball team, the whole city hated us. Would have made bang. It was different times, bro. I had maybe, you know, $5, $10 from selling candy every now and then. And let's see if I can show my high school. Since it's the homies, show us where you hit the body. Hey, we got the res right down the street, gang. Everything legal. That's like old 19, not even that. That's like 1600 rules. It's the high school. This is where I started driving to school. I would play Drake 2 on in my Honda Accord and thought I was the shit. Pulling in right here. Oh, you can't go in the school though. Right here. Fundraising is just legalized. Yeah, I used to walk some of these streets trying to get like we had like a soup plantation or like hometown buffet was like the reward. That's a pretty high school. No, this high school looks like a prison. We had the money from the casino down the street. We had nice stuff, but it's like the field is actually pretty nice. But there's nicer ones out here in Temecula. I got like 3 blocks with a catch. I feel like you was about to say no AC. Uncomfortable ass. Oh, remember the seats in high school? Oh my god, like they were like porcelain seats. Chat this. Yeah, hey, link you guys' high school. I'm gonna walk around your high school. We're gonna see who's famous from your high school. There's so many porn stars from my school too. Literally like 6. Just from like my class alone. Like what? It was before OnlyFans too. And this was where we, I think we had a really good baseball team. Actually, bro, yes. And it's surreal. It's a surreal experience to be like, I know that person. Like I had like English AP English. Actually, the class was like right here. My mom would pick me up like over here sometimes. We would walk out. I'd be like, all right, see ya. Our AP Lit was like right there. I wish they do let you go in a little bit. Look at this. I can show you the actual classroom. It was right on the inside of the wall. There's like the walkway and then it was right there. Yep, see, here's the hallway. This is the class right here. That first class right there. We'd walk out right here. You should just talk about whatever. Ah, ha, ha, boop, boop. And that girl became a porn star. I got 2 porn stars. Hey, bro, it's little, it's funny, but it's also kind of like, it's like you gotta into the industry. Like I kind of see I see the pipeline. I kind of understand the mindset of who becomes a porn star. Insane in prison. Yeah, it's bad. It's so bad. And then the newest school in our area is so nice. See, this is why it's nice being a small streamer. Who the fuck gonna fuck with me? This is like literally like a college. Where's it at? I love, this is where you drive into for the basketball games right here. Like, this shit is like Zoe 101 type shit. Can you go in? No, you can't. This school is nice. You gotta see it from the freeway though. Modern age type shit. Type shit. It don't look good, but from the free squays though. And they got all these shopping malls around it and shit. There's like sushi right here. Like this is a high school. Like they got the upstairs classroom, but the glass window looking out. I got a Wawa. When I'm trying to eat a little bit healthy. Wait, no, I'm thinking of Wawa. Wawa Grill. What is Wawa? I never been to Wawa. That's a Subway. This what you want? You get out of school. Oh nah, that look like some 7. I don't know about that one, GG. Oh, it is like a gas station. Okay. You have no. I don't know what that is. That look like 7-Eleven. That look like Japanese 7-Eleven. Yeah. But that's my hood. Let's see, Vancouver, I guess. BC. What's the BC for? British Columbia? I'm so fucking smart. The pizza, the half and half joint? Nah, bro. Nah, I don't know about that one. Whoa, there's a lot of streets. Let's go to his hood though. So that means the Google people have to send a boat. They gotta send a Google boat. See, this is the freeway right here. What is this? A fucking leaf? Can we zoom in on the leaf? Imagine they got the ocean mapped out. That's the future. Let's go to my joint. Hey, give me a spot. What am I searching? So you gotta come Seymour. I feel like that's the place I know. Horseshoe Bay. So you gotta come out here. And they got ocean freeways. Horseshoe Bay, Bowen Island, BC. My middle school. Okay, but put it in. Put it in. So I'm gonna put Pacific Coast Highway. Why did it not take me to it? I just want to see one of the views of it, you know? So you come through Malibu. Where's Malibu at? And this is at the top already. Malibu's right here, right? And then that one crazy ass street. What's that street? It's a movie named after it. I drove on it. It's one of these. Mulholland Drive. Yeah, Mulholland Drive. Once you get past that, it's super nice. Tibbetts Middle School in Ramblewood. That sound good. Hold up. The Ramblers. Oh no. See, this is the Pacific Coast. The whole way you just got the ocean. That's gonna be crazy. I have to film that. Okay, here we go. Tibbetts. I'm searching Tibbetts. Doesn't pop up. No Riz. No Aura. Middle school staff. All right, here we go. Bot, my OG viewer. Even before you, GG. This is the OG. 2 T's. I put 2 T's. This is you right here, gang. New Mexico. Damn, it's just a dirt lot, that motherfucker. Bro, it's not. Whoa, how do you get this? Where the house is at? How do you get this? That's a nice ass school. What you talking about? That look like a tech building though. They don't got no school sign on it. Bro, where like, oh my, where's the nearest houses? Where do the students come from? You got fucking, there will be blood over here. But it's like in the middle. Look at that. You got the power lines. Oh my. Nah, this will be fun as hell. Cause you stuck with all your co-classmates in the middle of nowhere. You ain't got nothing to do but have fun inside. I wish I could click in. What's the reviews like? I went to Tibbetts Middle School. And, oh, look, 4.3 stars. Let's go newest. Shay White. JJ Gone. Yeah, that shit nice. I love the school. It's way better than all the other schools. Damn, he prideful. Say this Taffy. This is morons because this school has always helped this. Wait, what? The people that say the staff and teacher are morons, they're the morons. Okay, this school, they're the morons because this school has all. Well, maybe it's elementary. It's a middle school. He's still learning. Love being a Titan. Oh. Hey motherfucker, your name used to be Superman. Hey, if I click your shit, I'm about to dox the fuck out of you if I click this. 1 star. Your name used to be Superman. Oh, he caught as hell. Do I have caught in my? Do I have caught? I don't have. Do I have 7 TV emotes? I don't think so. Hold up. Can I click your name? Do I have permission? Can I click that name? I won't dox you if you're like, oh shit. Okay, go back to the map. Yeah, change the subject. Yeah. Caught that a motherfucker. Okay, wait, no, I want to see Gigi's school too. Go back to the map. There's a town near the school. Okay, hold on. I'm copying Gigi's school. Bro, my mouth is so fucking dry. Oh my god. He said, no, don't. No, please. No, please. Okay, can I do satellite? Look at, bro, this is where fucking... I was about to say Heisenberg. What's his name? Oppenheimer dropped his shit. Like right over here. Okay, you got Sinclair, Twin Peaks. That's like a TV show or something. Okay, you got some green over here. How far are you from Oppenheimer? Let's see that. If you just search Oppenheimer, what was the name of that place? Oppenheimer Park. Name of Oppenheimer area. I don't fucking know. Ara. Los Alamos in Santa Fe. How far are you from Los Alamos? Damn, okay, that's still kind of far. You good, bro. You were not in the zone. Okay, keep going to the right. So we're here. We're gonna go, what's the right? East? Oh, okay, suburbia, okay. Did you go to Farmington High School? Farmington. McKinley, okay. You got a Goodwill, Fly High Trampoline Park. Okay. Ricketts Park, okay. Wow, yeah, you went to like this. They like had to get you away from the city. Like, is there middle schools over here somewhere? You was a danger or something. Why you don't go to Hermosa? Beautiful middle school. That look nice to me. Shit, I would have went there. You was at Camp Green Lake. Wait, where do they film Camp? I feel like Camp Green Lake I could go to. Camp Green Lake location. He was at Camp Green Lake with Mr. Sir. Texas. Where do they film it though? He was on Tatooine, motherfucker. Film location. See the Mojave Desert. That's AZ, right? I'm painfully like I'm gonna be pissing like gold. Or is Mojave in California? The Mojave Desert, yeah. Oh, that's just on the way to Vegas. Okay. Rich kid. Okay, so that's the rich. Okay, no. See, now we're like poor shaming. I ain't mean to be doing no shit like that. That has a good amount of trees. They ain't look like it. Maybe some tumbleweed in that moment. Whoa, GG. That looked like a closed up bowling alley. What the? It looked like 100 Stranger Things. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa. And you was here watching me. That's kind of weird. No, I got family in Albuquerque. It's just a lot of Adobe. It's just a lot of space. Actually, no, they're in Santa Fe, actually. This looks like a Costco. This looks like a Costco. Okay, you got some tennis courts. Okay. Where the food court at? I'm going to do a tour. I'm going to spin the block. What's this say? Coral Springs. You probably walked on this exact sidewalk. Well, that's not. Oh, you got a little. Okay. You got a little river. Is there a Target? You saw a Target? $12.12. They took the pictures. Today is an A day. I try my high school. I'm looking at the middle school. Oh, the street is named after it. Y'all balling like that? Okay. All right. What's your high school? I need water so bad, but I don't want to get up. This is fun. Corral. Okay, compare it to my prison high school. Coral Springs. West Sample Road. Is that Florida? Yep. They open at 7:40. Okay. How far are you from Disney World? You way down there. You way up. Or can you see Disney World from here? Let's see. Disney World should be big. Yep, right here. Yep, okay. So cool little couple hour drive. Okay. There's a Golden Corral and fucking they all need to go. Those type of buffet, nah. I don't know how I used to hit those up. Wait a minute. That looks like a place that I filmed. They got the police ready. That looks like a gym I've been to. The Colts. Ain't got nothing on the trees. Cold as hell. Decent sized field. Okay. You got the same type of track. Can you see from the top down? Oh, hell no. They had the chocolate fondue fountain. This looks like... Because I did... No, I'm not going to say I went to this fucking school. But I have filmed in Florida a couple times. Oh, there you go right there. Broward, ain't that a prison? Yeah, I'm trying to see top down. I'm getting overwhelmed. Back up. Let's do this. Here we go. The basketball court is like a spot. Can you see from here? That is your high school. Is that a hashtag? That's a fucked up hashtag. MSD strong. What is that? Is that a prank? They don't allow us anywhere. This looks decent size. Big old parking lot. Hold on. I want to see like the field side. They won't let you. This house is over here. I'm gonna fuck around, find your house. Dang, they made sure you can see their address. Look at that shit. That looks fake. That looks like creepily big. Like this looks like weird. That's where they had a school show. Oh damn. MSD. Damn. Wait, no, not Parkland. Nah. Is that the what? Oh wow. It is in Florida. Damn, what the fuck? Yo, I'm close to your house. No fucking way. What if your house was that way? And I'm like, oh shit, look at it. Who's this girl skateboarding outside? That's kind of crazy. I've heard of Parkland. Damn, y'all iconic as shit. All right, let me back out. Where you at? Bot, where you at? Before I docks. Oh, they got 707. That's nice. That's cool. Let's try and find a nice car. Who got a nice car parked out? You got the lifted truck. Got the 2 creeper vans outside. Farmington. Oh, we just saw that. Oh, we got the bucket getter. Oh, there's Gigi right there going for a walk. She got a pack on her. What she got on her? Oh, she disappeared. No. We got a little Eclipse. Mitsubishi Eclipse. Okay. All right. Let's go back to Gigi out there making money. I see you. Farmington. That's cool. We're back to New Mexico. So you went from outside over. Wait, we were just here. Well, that's in Utah. Another place I want to go to. My mouth is so fucking dry. This it? There we go. They didn't even let y'all be the only Farmington. Okay. So you was here, skis. Then y'all had concrete bleachers? That is the worst. Farmington, right? So we right here. So you was over here. Safety City. They had you over here in Safety City. Right? This is the same place. There was like a trampoline park or something. Yeah, right here. Okay, yeah, we're good. That's where we were. That looks huge. It looks like a nice stadium, though. I want to see the stadium. Did y'all have concrete seat, bro? Though that shit gets hot and uncomfortable. Yellow ass truck. This is nice. This is like a Texas school where they got the huge ass football field. Look at that. Yeah, okay. From the middle of nowhere to a nice. This is nice. You got an outhouse. Got a brother out there on guard, standing a security guard. Okay. Look at the telephone pole. What's up with the telephone pole? That's a little bit downtown San Diego reminiscent, little ghetto, power poles, but that looks fine. Choose to be tobacco free, drug free. Okay. Farmington. That reminds me of that dude who's faded than hoe. Blinkerton. I'm gonna take a Blinkerton. That looks. Oh, that's nice, bruh. That right there over here, that's nice. That's nicer than my damn school. Greenhouse, the one with the flower. Go back down. What you mean? What you mean? What you mean? MSC is literally one of our neighbor high school. Dang. You was down the street, gang. Gotta keep that thing on you. That's what you was walking with, that pack. Yeah, that 9 milli. What I'm looking for, bot. That's a telephone that have. Oh, where someone got hit? Right there, it look like it got something on it. Oh, how you know that? Dang, what that mean? Dang, that look nice as hell too. Dang, gang. That's some nice looking flowers though. They got the heart out there, yep. Dang, right there, right in front of the school. Hey, rest in peace. Look, come on, that's nice looking flowers right there. Damn, another shooting, bro. That's America. Both of y'all are. What are the chances of that? The two people in my chat both know of a shooting that's basically right down the street. That shit is crazy. And that's on opposite sides of the coast. That's cool though that they keep it up though. What's this? 2023. That's cool. That's like the spot. That's a good look. Bad shit happened, but you gotta do what you gotta do. I'm so like dead right now. Like my mouth is so fucking dry. But I want to keep looking at stuff on Google Maps. This is fun. Oh, I need to end. Yep. But it's probably they probably take it very serious. They probably don't play about security. And hopefully it prevents shit. I mean, I think I read like shit's been going down at least recently. I mean, we saw the guard standing there. We saw one of the dudes here in the picture. So you just graduated. Gigi about to graduate. Sean graduated. Gills, no, what's his name? Fuck. Bro in the army. What's his fucking name? Yuri's in fucking army. I'm back to my childhood home. Bot is back. We're all getting old. Yeah, that's great. Like Parkland is, I feel like one of the major ones. Let's go to Blake's now. It's a restaurant. Bro, I need water so bad. I feel like I'm like SpongeBob in that dried out Blake's Lotta Burger. Like I feel like SpongeBob. I need it. Dang, what the fuck is that's like modern SpongeBob. This one, that's me right now. I need water so fucking bad. Okay, are we still in New Mexico? Get water. I know, but I gotta move shit to open the door. Okay. I can't even think. Blake's Lotta Burger. Blake. Let's see. It look like Route 66. Oh, I want to look at Disneyland stuff. I miss Disneyland so much. Lotta Burger. That's probably fire. What they got on the sign? Shake up your day with our peach shakes. Okay, the peach game. Next to the upholstery shop. Okay. The green chili cheese. Okay, so if I head out to New Mexico to see the fam, I'm going to stop at Lotta Burger. That sounds like a hood movie, like, restaurant. Like, let's hit the Lotta Burger, dog. Like, they go there and some shit go down. I'm literally holding my throat. I feel like shit. Take a trip through your hood, dog. You got Napa. Alright, let me show y'all my parents' hood. Barbecue pit. Now get out of here. This is where I grew up as a kid. Like, I want to live in this area. National City, San Diego, the hood of SD. Where my parents was grown and raised to somehow end up making me. Barbecue pit right here. This is one of the first places I had. I'm like, yo, food is fucking good. I love getting good food. Barbecue motherfucking pit. I literally, anytime I come to San Diego, I park right here. Right, they got the Rent-A-Center right there. There's a Chuck E. Cheese over here. Right here, bang, Chuck E. Cheese. Used to go to that Chuck E. Cheese. And there was like a American buffet or whatever. Bomb ass barbecue sandwich right here. Bomb as hell. Old black dude chopping it up. Lotta Burger is literally New Mexico version. And I was like, okay. How many Lotta Burger? I'm gonna Google Lotta Burger. Find me a good burger. Home of the good burger. Ooh, I'll put a slash at the end. Albuquerque since 1952. Okay, by Blake. Is he still alive? Nope, he died 15 years ago. Let's see, 75 locations. God damn. I like how I went from clean to Apex out of nowhere. And this is what it's like. This is the best part of streaming. It's the best thing. Just the random shit that you end up doing. Or like catching on stream. And it's like, oh, like it's just, I'll just stream. It won't be good. I'll be watching other streamers. But it'll be cozy. It don't gotta be. I ain't. Okay? I ain't. Like literally I'll just like watch a fucking, like YouTube has movies now. Like I will watch streamers just watch movies sometimes and just chill the fuck out. Oh yeah, y'all missed me getting buckets.
Book marketplace.
Look at this. Me and Matt was in that bitch at my middle school. That's how it usually goes. Yeah, like it's like shitty, but then like somewhere in the shit you find a fucking diamond.
Oh.
I had to do suicides every time I didn't make it.
I'm fucking cash. Get in there.
That was the last one. You watched? Oh, you did see it already. This was fun as fuck. I love the like I have to make X amount of threes or I gotta do this challenges.
You make this one.
I used to practice here, and then the half court shot it fucked up on the stream because I turned it off.
That's my beautiful. Get in there.
But you could hear it go in.
You can't zoom out of this. Oh.
Hey, where's it at? Oh, it's right here. I can't hear it. I don't know if you guys can hear it right now. Yeah, I literally right there, I hit that girl. I had the biggest crush on that girl, and I just fucking tackled her right there. She was crying. Ugh, that's one of my cringe memories. Of just like you just think about it and cringe. This shit was cash. That shit was money as fuck.
You saw that was first try.
Yeah, bro, I felt so bad.
Saw that was first try.
And like we did like middle school dating where like we hugged each other after class, like goofy shit like a couple times, but she was just standing there and we were playing hard ass basketball. We would play basketball serious as fuck. Bro, I was going for the ball, I trucked her, bro. She had the curly hair that day too. She was looking so good, just I'm like, yo, I'm so sorry. Her brothers were like football players too. They knew me. They were cool. It was bad. Probably didn't have them all. Okay, I'm showing my mall. Fuck your mall. I'm showing my mall. My mall slowly just closing up. Yeah, malls are done. I don't know. I feel like you can do some dope ass stuff with the inside a mall. Like you can put like a skate park in here. This is the movie theater. I saw so many movies here. What's a movie I could say? I think I saw Finding Nemo here. I think I saw every Fast and Furious movie in theaters here. Look at that old ass car. Oh, it keeps getting further away because it was behind the car. I'm trying to catch up to the car. Dude, my muscles are like doing weird shit. We had a cool fountain. Oh yeah, we had a little fountain over here. Let's see right here. See if we can catch it shooting. This like shoots water over. You can walk under it. We got like statues and shit. Okay, so yeah, we'll do this. We'll do a little tour next time. We're trying to get everyone in chat. Little hometown trip. We need everyone to come with a PowerPoint next time. This is where you drive your car like an idiot up top. People go up there and do donuts. Don't need check for tickets at the bosses. They're the best thing. I used to have a homie. His name was Ian. There's like all these back doors. Hey bro, you wanna go see what fucking movie? Like Django, I think he snuck us into. Just come right here, gang. Gotta be hella early for the movie though. But yeah. I need water. Dude, my chest is like doing weird shit. What the fuck? It's turning red. I need water. My body's attacking me. Ending stream. So I don't die. Oh my god, when you go to the theaters with outside food, do like some chicken nuggets with like sweet and sour sauce. Oh my god, it is the best shit. They don't get paid enough. Yeah, exactly. Dude, my chat. I gotta end stream. I gotta go to sleep. My body's attacking me. But my room is kind of clean. Ah, there we go. Stream. I streamed. This is what it's gonna be. I'm gonna be chilling. I'll probably put on other streamers. Unless I'm playing like a fucking stream game. Like a story game. Who's even live right now? I genuinely love watching Twitch. Like I don't even watch TV or anything anymore. I'll probably be watching Mario later. I streamed. This is what's gonna be. Nothing serious, nothing crazy. Hopefully a trip soon, but thank y'all for pulling up again. Bot / Superman / whatever your name was before. Can't believe you came back and now you're integrated with the 2.0 Celly community. It's chill like this yet. That's all I want. That's all I want. I don't know why I ran and hid, but I'm not gonna say I'm back. Like I'm back. I'm about to be streaming, but I mean I'll be here time to time. It was fun. Yeah, this was chill. This was good. This was exactly what I hoped it would be. And I will leak my alt now. My alt is Celly Salt. So if I'm just like really like not gonna say shit, that's it. Like Celly Salt. I wanted to get like a salt icon, like my face, but like with salt on it or something. But if I'm really like, I'm not gonna say shit, that's my alt. But I'll probably just stream here. So yeah. See y'all when I see y'all. Thanks for sharing y'all schools and whatnot. Drink water, exercise, and try and get good sleep. Peace. I would do the thing where I'm like, oh yeah, one more thing, and then end the stream and then act like I'm saying something else, but I'm too tired. I'm too fucking tired. So peace out. This was great. Yes, doxing. When you're a small community, we can dox ourselves. Well, not literally. I don't want to see y'all houses and shit. But yeah. Anyway, this is always the hardest part. But peace. Peace out. See ya. Peace, GG. Peace, bot. It says 3 viewers, so I'm assuming Sean is lurking. So peace, Sean. Y'all have a good Monday and a good week. Peace.